And hello, everybody. Happy Saturday.
Hi.
We are Hard Knock Dice. My name is Jonesy, your dungeon master for the evening, and these beautiful people that mostly surround me at this time are your heroes for the evening and my best friends. Today we're going to continue across Eberron, but before we do, if I can please, we already got it in the chat for you, ! charity. We're raising money with Extra Life. Extra Life is a charitable organization raising money for children's hospitals all across North America. Specifically, we're raising money for the Children's Health Care of Atlanta, who just got done in the past couple of years building a children's hospital. So go donate money, open your heart wallets, do the lawful kind thing, and be a hero IRL. Yeah. I don't think we have any announcements. We did just have a Halloween one shot this past Sunday.
One shat his pants.
A Halloween one shot ran by our very own Kylie. So go check that out. Me, Ian, and me and Ian were in it. It was a really great time. It should be on the Twitch VODs. Won't be there for too terribly long. But then it'll be up on our YouTube tomorrow, so go check it out. We're also still in the midst of our Whispers in the Dust campaign, DM'd by our wonderful Ian here. We are going to our 4th episode soon, but some IRL stuff is kind of attacking us from all directions. We're trying to get it back on track as much as possible. So yeah, make sure to go to take this opportunity and go check up on that on YouTube, though. It's our Fantasy West campaign. It's been a cowboy good time for sure, though. Is that everything? All the announcements, all the fun stuff, I believe? I think so. Go check out YouTube. That's where all the fun stuff is. So anyways, we are going to continue across Eberron today. So in that case, gentlemen, at this very moment, Kaushik will be joining us soon. Pip will not be joining us today as she moves across the country, which sucks she's missing today, but we're going to be happy to have her close by for sure. So, anyways, last we left off, our heroes, the Shining Vanguard, had fought their way across the Moorlands. But one battle was left. One of the refugees that they had rescued in the Moorlands themselves when Venora had attempted to attack the party because she thought that the Warforged Colossus that they were sending off to the Lord of Blades was the people of New Kyrie's only salvation. After this was made known and that she couldn't let it go, the party had to make a tough decision, and that was dispatching of Venora because she wouldn't stop. After doing so, the party, getting a little bit more insight into Venora's decision, saw Venora's patron, a being of pure despair, who came to collect on his bargain. A devil of ice and despair approached, freezing Otto in his place. Artyom just fighting through it with a 30 on his wisdom check, or a 31, I can't remember. However, this entity collected Venora's spirit and departed without a single word. Our party then left in a fairly quiet and contemplative mood from the Moorlands. They finished up their surgery on Venora's companion, Gabriel, who was devastated in what happened to Venora. They had made it to the town that lies just outside of the Moorlands, the town of Last Stop. They had a couple of drinks in a tavern known as the Bell, as well as a couple of deep conversation held by our automaton friends Otto and another rescue from the Moorlands, one Samuel, an automaton, not a warforged, but just an automaton from the Moorlands, and his ghost in the machine of Norin DeCanneth. One of our heroes here, Artyom, had taken up a newfound magical item from the Moorlands, a shard from the Shroud, and attempted to scry on his homelands. In doing so, seeing a beautiful and thriving village, which he was greeted with some fond familiar sights. After doing so, an individual popped up behind Artyom, one Doug, invited him to come along and informed him that their good friend and mutual acquaintance, one Master Alexander, had walked on from this life and into the next. In his conversations with Artyom, had told him that he had spent his time protecting Alexander, and now that his son is going to be protecting, that his time had been spent protecting Master Alexander, now that his son's time is going to be spent protecting Artyom. After this conversation and this odd, strange walk between realms to Master Alexander's tower, hundreds of miles away, we now pick back up where we left off last session in Alexander's crooked and sort of comical looking tower, about 2.5 stories tall, built right on the tree line here in southeastern Karnath, near the borders of the Talenta Plains. We pick back up in the living area of this castle, where now sitting in front of you, Artyom, and the rest of your friends sort of arced around, is a small, I say small, he's about 20 inches tall, so he's a growing boy, but a puppy stands in front of you. He's wagging his tail furiously as everybody enters the room. He is currently sitting, and he is of the dog variety that when they shake their tails, their entire body ensues, as well as his head moves back and forth. And he's just barking at you. Can I get you, Artyom, to please just make me a quick perception check, or a quick insight check, rather?
That would be an 18 total.
An 18. You see, he's not barking at first when your friends walk in here, but when you walk in, he does begin barking, and with an insight check and your sort of natural connection to beast and a feeling of connection to this hound specifically, he is barking at the leather strap that Doug gave you outside. You see, looking at it in your hands, it is a collar.
Right. And was there anything on the collar?
There are some runes on this collar. It seems magical in nature. Other than that, and it's sort of embossed into the leather itself. And you look at it, and where there would be a name sort of embossed in there, it is blank currently, and then a silver buckle where you would put it around his neck.
Yeah, I'll just kind of go over to the little hound and give him some pets and scritches.
Loves that. Jumps up on your as you bend down, jumps up on your shoulders, licks your face. You feel an instant connection, and you also feel whatever this journey has brought you throughout the Mournlands, and even before and to now, you feel an instant calming sensation wash over you as you do.
I'll ask him, do you have a name yet? It looks like these colors blank.
Burr! And tries to like tug on the collar a bit. With your 18 on the inside check, it seems like he wants the collar.
Yeah, I'll put it on.
You put the collar on, and the dog goes, "It's about time, mister. Thank you." And the dog just starts talking out loud at this point. All of you can hear it. Him speaking to Artyom. "Hey, mister. It's a pleasure to meet you. I appreciate that hug there. That was nice. Thank you."
Do you have a name?
"Nope. That's our first order of business, sir."
You seem really spry.
"Okay. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?"
That's a good thing.
"Wonderful. It's nice to meet you, mister. Pappy told me all about you."
You said Pappy?
Artyom, where did this dog come from?
His dog came from dog. Dog is a dog. Dog was a dog. We were brought here by a dog named Doug.
Artyom, that was a man.
Oh, he's a dog.
Rune rolled his
Okay.
perception check last week. Now, if the connection was made or not, that is totally up to you. But you absolutely saw the Irish Wolfhound type hound that sat outside, completely gray and then just completely white in the face with a limp. Very much like Doug had his arm against his chest the whole time this dog limped off into the woods.
I see. Goodbye, Crowley. And I guess you are going to stand outside.
Charlie goes to get some air. As Kaushik comes in from getting some air.
I realized Crowley didn't like dogs.
Right.
Well, mister, I reckon the first thing that we need to do here is give me a name.
Slick.
Okay, that works.
Nice.
And you see the embossment on the collar turn to Slick. My name's Slick. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's the first name that came to mind. I hope you like it.
Well, if you like it, I like it.
I like it.
Wonderful. And I love it.
It's the DM type Slick into his notes.
I can't
actually,
wait for this dog to
onto-
meet Bill.
Onto the stat block that I'm about to provide to you.
Oh.
Oh. Ah. Crowley DC.
I see. Not a worry. As I change his name in here, and then I'm gonna have to do this in a bit of an odd way, but if you can just kind of keep this on your computer for your reference. Slick has some abilities which you become distinctly aware of. Oh, that may have just frozen everybody in Skype for a second, but that's okay. But after you name him, you feel a bond made between you two.
Where am I getting this?
In Skype. I'm putting it in Skype. There you go.
Okay.
Yep. You see that Slick has a variety of abilities, all for helping keeping you protected. But he as he sits here with his newly embossed collar, says, "Well, mister, there are some other things of business, but we can always talk business later. We got plenty of time, but it's really just what you want to do."
How old are you? Or do you know?
I reckon I'm about I'm not real good with numbers, but I'm at least a couple.
All right. Couple's pretty good. Well, what kind of things do you like to do?
That's a good question, mister. I love a good hug.
Oh, you get plenty of those.
I'll absolutely take a hug if you're willing to give one, sir.
Yep. You don't have to call me sir. We're all friends here. And these are also my friends. They are great. I'm sure they'll give you hugs too. That one's got a lot of metal on. Don't get pinched.
Hello, mister. You look mighty fancy.
Thank you very much. My chassis is properly sealed. You should not be in any danger of pinching.
I was talking about Broom.
I do also have plate. Yes.
Right.
Well, I don't
I'm
like
keeping
pinches. That's one thing I don't like. We can scratch that one off the list. I do like hugs, though.
I'll
But
just
it's a
remove
pleasure
a
to meet you,
gauntlet
all of
and
you.
scratch him on the head instead. Without
Wonderful.
this will
And
suffice.
Brune, as you do that, I think there is a moment of calm and a pretty rough sea inside of Brune. Something that maybe a brief insight for a little while, I think, is going to last about an hour or so after giving Slick a pat on the head. Constant vigilance. You just feel kind of safe here. There's no real reason for it as you look around the rickety walls of this. It's not a fortress.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah, the OSHA violations are top notch
Yes.
right now.
A workplace. It's a workplace accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
For our
Okay.
wonderful audience here, just so you know the abilities of Slick here, and I'm not just keeping them all to ourselves here at Hard Knock Dice. Slick has a couple of abilities, along with just being a Valinor Hound, which means he can bond with the creature. That bonded creature is, of course, RTM here. He will always know where RTM is, no matter what, which he tells you. He says he also has an ability called Love's Hugs, which the Hound can cast a single target version of Calm Emotions at will on any willing creature that hugs him. and also shortcuts, which begins to make a little bit more sense to you on how Doug got you here. And that Slick seems to know some shortcuts to places through Fey slipstreams that can get you anywhere that he's been to before. If he's not been there before, it just requires a survival check. He also has a couple of more combat related abilities. One called Puppy Kisses, which is a cure wound spell at 3rd level, and then Search and Rescue, which means he can cast Expeditious Retreat on himself. So that is, there you go.
The goodest boy ever.
Hell yeah.
I can't handle this. This dog is too perfect. It's called Puppy Kisses. Ah!
All right, Slick. Will, did you ever meet Alexander?
Yes, sir. I knew Mr. Alexander for a little bit there, not for too long, but for a little bit. Him and my dad were best friends.
Right. Okay. So, maybe you can show me around the place then, if you've been here for a bit.
Of course. It's exactly what I'm here for. That's our first order of business. If that's what you're looking for, I can absolutely do that.
Yeah.
Well, there's some fairly important things that he wanted you to have, of which was his hat, his wand, and his robe. And so we'll go to his bedroom, if you'll follow me.
All right.
He starts leading you through the tower. Alexander has and was always been a pack rat. There are a number of trinkets and just completely unvaluable things adorning these walls from all over the place, it looks like. Alexander was just a collector of stuff. So as you walk through this, the walls are, you've heard of minimalist design. Well, this is maximalist, where every inch of wall is covered by things he just enjoyed. So right. If there was like a play that Alexander enjoyed, he would steal the sign that like, or a flyer or something, and put it on the wall. But he leads you up to his bedroom. He leads you to like a cupboard type of situation where you do see a robe in there, Alexander's hat in there, which is in the style of an ushanka, which is like a Russian cold cap, with the exception of, instead of the flat back, it goes off into like a wizard's point. And then his wand is sitting on his nightstand. If I could also get you to roll me an investigation check while you're in here.
Sure. That is a 9.
A 9. Okay. With that, he shows you these things. You are welcome to add Alexander's wand to your inventory, Alexander's ushanka to your inventory, and then his robe is a pretty common item. It is a robe of useful things. It has its normal patches along with these patches that I have pre-rolled for you. So while you're sort of looking over those items really quickly, the rest of you, what are you doing in this space?
We were told this was a wizard's tower, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not touching shit.
Okay. So you get hands in your pockets, Brune? Sure.
I'm just kind of doing that, like grabbing my breastplate like, up and stuff, like.
Eyes flickering everywhere, hands to myself.
Right.
Okay.
Otto is. Otto's been in a mood, but I gotta say it is probably impossible for at least some fragment of his natural inquisitiveness to not show itself some. So he is probably, after he's like processed the dog and the situation there, casually perusing, looking for, what would be in a wizard's tower. He didn't know. Milo certainly fucking didn't know.
Yeah. Give me a quick investigation check, and we're gonna do this. This is for his bedroom specifically.
Sure.
Unless you are
he's
leaving the area.
No, like I said, he is mostly in his slump right now. But he is just kind of like against his nature to not at least look around.
Gotcha.
Investigation. I was terrible and did not actually pre-open my character sheet. Jesus Christ. I believe it is plus 10. I got logged out of D&D Beyond apparently, which would make that a 29.
Oh, yeah. You're just sort of cruising the room as as Slick goes around and he, grabbing the wand with his teeth first, hands it to RTM. RTM, you see in the handle of this wand there are already some teeth marks where maybe it's been gotten a hold of before. He goes in like the wardrobe and he's not quite tall enough to grab the robe off the thing, so he just like grabs the bottom of it and starts pulling it down. He's very intelligent and resourceful dog, but he's still only about 2 foot tall at the moment. He's a growing boy, but pulls these things out and hands them to you. Says, Mr. Alexander wanted you to have these specifically. While he's doing that, Otto, your eyes sort of looking around the area, you do see something that catches your eye. Just for the sake of curiosity, you do see a dream journal beside Alexander's bed.
Let's see what wins the war, his curiosity or his depression. Apparently his curiosity. Mr. Slick, would you mind if I took a peek into this journal? Or perhaps Uncle Artyom. I am unsure who has authority in this place.
I don't mind if you look. Go right ahead.
Well, Mr. Artyom, it's your tower.
Yeah, go right ahead. That's fine.
Excellent. And he will go do so.
Yeah, you flick through the pages really quickly, and while you're reading that, we go back to Artyom really quickly. The wand, after looking at it, there it is a wand of wonder. However, it has a slight modification that Alexander put on it himself. A wand of wonder, for those who don't know, is you pointed at something and a random effect can happen. It seems like it was not very intentional, with the exception of candy blast being put on it. Alexander always being the old man he had some Werther's hard candies in his pockets at all time, which are pretty good if you hurl them at somebody as hard as you can, which the wand has been infused with the cantrip candy blast. Pointing this at someone fires hard candies in a 5-foot square. There's a creature in there and you hit them with your spell tech modifier, they'll take some damage. It also makes that 5-foot square rough terrain, or difficult terrain rather, until someone picks up the hard candies in the area.
Like slipping on marbles.
Alexander's Ushanka is a hat, is essentially a bag of holding. As you sort of reach your hand in, as a wizard's hat would be, and you can pull out random things. But however, this one's a bit different, and when you if you were to like sort of feel your hands in there or even put it on your head, it's just the ideal temperature no matter what, which this Ushanka provides. If you put something in there cold, like a cold beer in there, the beer will remain cold. If you put a bowl of hot soup in there, the soup will remain hot. In addition to this, the current contents of this hat of holding, or this Ushanka of holding, is 3.5 bottles of Balus family vodka, 146 empty bottles of Balus family vodka, a half-used bag of dog treats, and 2 pounds of Talenton halfling hashish.
Hell yeah. So he's Gandalf is what I'm hearing. But make him a little more slab. Yeah, Gandalf with the Ushanka. And the gun.
Alexander was a lot of things, and a stranger to a good time he was not. I will say also, as you sort of make your ways through these hallways and into this bedroom, you absolutely you see blasts of magic that have hit the wall and have since been repaired via like simple mending spells or something like that. But there's various just magic. Alexander's spent a lively time in this place. and the walls definitely tell the story. Cutting back over to you, Otto, as you read through the dream journal, it seems like this wasn't something he had always done. It seems like this was picked up in the recent few years. He wrote down strange dreams that occurred after some research that he was doing. These strange dreams came to him after the research, and Alexander's sort of realized that something strange was happening to his thought process. Very much in the way that vodka or hashish would affect his thoughts. He thought after this research, his thoughts were being affected as well. So he cast some simple restorative magic on him. And he realized that some of the ideas that were coming to him in these odd dreams weren't his own thoughts or his own dreams. And that something else, something external, was affecting the way that he was thinking.
Kind of finishes, and then turns around, still holding the journal. Uncle Artyom, I believe it would be in everyone's best interest if you would take a look. He kind of holds out the journal.
Okay.
And if you begin reading it, he would probably verbalize a very, very, very summarized version for everyone else in the room.
When Artyom takes the journal from him, just kind of standing there with Slick, he'll kind of gesture for Otto to, here, when I read this, you hang out with Slick, give him nice pets. He's a good dog.
Excellent. And he will.
Yeah.
Your hand touches Slick, and some of the turmoil that Otto has been doing sort of just drifts away a little bit. A moment of inner peace.
Probably a very mechanical, inorganic movement to reach down and pet the dog. Just kind of like a freeze frame as that effect begins to occur. And then for the first time since the fight, he probably actually seems a little more natural, a little more in the moment, and very, very invested in petting this dog.
The Slick goes, now, mister, there's, Pappy always taught me that I'm supposed to ask if I can. I would love to lick your face.
Please proceed.
He polishes the gold plated and just licks all over.
Otto has never been licked by a dog before, so he's probably just like frozen perfectly still, unsure how to react to this. And when the puppy enthusiasm display is complete, going back to the petting and scratching, very enthusiastically on Otto's part too, just a you are one of the most fantastic creatures I have ever seen or heard of.
Well, mister, I think you're pretty keen too.
Thank you very much.
Ain't no need to thank me, mister. It's a pleasure. And then just one last lick on your faceplate.
Yeah.
Is our team looking for something specific in this dream journal other than what I've mentioned?
I guess if there are any bits of him maybe having any clue what might be affecting his dreams, or if there are kind of more of a tone to the dreams themselves, right? I mean, if he's dreaming of the sky falling, or like bugs overtaking the world, or just first year at the college with no clothes on. Who knows?
Yeah. No. Give me a quick insight check.
Insight check.
Yeah.
That would be a 14 plus 5.
19. You're reading through these, and the dreams seem to depict some sort of impending doom, of some sort. but that's just where they began. The sort of strangeness to them is when because dreams of impending doom happen to wizards all the time. They happen to a lot of mages. There's some, like, specifically some mages like the Keeper of the Flame have very vivid and very real predictions of the future. Anybody in touch with magic sort of can have these dreams, whether they're real or not. You know, that's up to the world. But you're sort of the dreams of impending doom is sort of the reasonable part of this. What became strange and unnatural to Alexander, as you sort of reading through, where there came in these dreams solutions to this impending doom, things to build that are strange and alien. You read a part of one dream that told him he needed to build like a taller observatory, and he felt the need. But before they could progress any further, casting restorative magic on himself, sort of shook his head and went about his way. I am going to say with that 19 on an insight check, it does remind you quite a bit of Moonwatch. And
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yes, I think that connection is absolutely there.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
We're in trouble.
So, he definitely seems to have a little bit of a desire to build things like our friends over at Moonwatch, but was I missing something in Moonwatch? I thought the stuff with Moonwatch would be over maybe when all the moons aligned, and that's been done and gone since Etur.
When
DM.
were these?
Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, when were these entries dated?
You give a quick glance through, and all of these seem to be within the past couple of years. Probably at the exit of Artium from staying with Alexander and going on his quests, but all of it seems fairly recently. Give me just a quick history check there, Artium.
Sure. Let's see. Oh, that is a dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, you'll sort of make the connection here that Alexander started a lot of stargazing there at the very end, sort of connecting different magics and planes with different constellations, and it was just one of his many interests that he brought up.
DM, I forgot, Milo had tons of notes he took at the observatory and all that. I mean, it ended up not really going anywhere. He was still stumped all the way up to the point of his disappearance.
Mm-hmm.
Is Otto seeing this able to make any extrapolations now that he has like a bigger sample size of information?
So you're trying to say, so Otto has those memories of Milo's notes from the observatory specifically?
The observatory, and I'll have Milo's inventory. Haven't opened it in so long. But I think he either lifted or took notes from a book with like kind of like gibberings from the astronomer there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's that there's nothing here. There's no like, or at least right here in the bedroom itself, there's no sort of beginnings to work or anything like that. But the dream journals do start to go in that sort of direction until you start reading that there were some restorative magics used, and then
right. Well, yeah. Initially probably, because my head certainly wasn't there, but Otto's probably wasn't either. He said this is really weird, and then with the subject / seeing the observatory here, the telescope or whatever,
mm-hmm.
being like, oh, it's like now he's got both PDF documents up, comparing them side to side to try and see patterns. And Otto is quite frankly much smarter than I am, so that's why I was asking, do you think he would be able to see any patterns kind of overlaying those two bits of information?
I think Otto would need to see Alexander's research, which is not here.
Gotcha. With a probably very renewed energy, Uncle Artyom, do you know where he would have kept more of his research information? Just kind of like leaning in. He's very intense in this moment.
I mean, I'm assuming he's got a study of stuff. I can direct him towards it.
Would Artyom, you know that in this 2.5-story building, the half story is what he referred to as his sanctum. It is, for all intents and purposes, an attic.
Right. Yeah, I'll take you to the sanctum. It's where he has all of his works were done.
Excellent. And he probably walks out the door, forgetting that he needs you to leave him there or lead him there. So he's walking out, stops and turns around. I don't know where I'm going.
It's right up here.
Slick follows right by your side, Artyom, as you're sort of walking up these old creaky stairs. Again, the walls of this sort of spiral staircase just filled with tons of things of Alexander's life here. You make your way up to the top staircase, and it is locked. You'll remember that Doug gave you a key.
Right. I will unlock this door.
Can you give me, as you pull that key back out, can you just well, we won't worry about that at the moment. You open the door to Alexander's sanctum, conical roof at the top of the tower. Pretty dusty in here. Maybe Alexander just hasn't visited up here in a while, or whatever the case is. And you see, other than a couple of, there are some telescopes that are pointed out at windows or other things looking at the sky, albeit it's daytime at the moment, so no real stars in view. Plenty of letters and research sort of scattered around these telescopes that Otto could go look at as well. There's also just some things of Alexander's theories on practical magic that he used, as well as a couple of things dealing with your bracers, Artyom. There's just sort of tables all along these walls, your bracers that you came out of the portal with. It seemed like Alexander did extensive research into those. And what their cause was. But in the middle of all of this, and sort of in the middle of this circular room, is a doorway with a closed door. It goes to nowhere. It is simply the molding of a door, and the door sits right there.
Otto, for his part, the door is unlocked. He probably would be considered rude from someone not so wrapped up in a moment, just kind of rushes in, and then just kind of those old projectors. There's just this flickering light as he's using his keen mind feature, trying to memorize the exact position of the telescopes and everything about them, and he is just trying to get every piece of information down. It walks a full circle around the door. And then would probably, without touching the telescopes or the door, the only thing he touches initially would be that book, just to see if there was any, if he looks at it, opens it up and pages through, and it is just some general magic theory or something, he will save it for later. He is scanning for things relevant to this particular subject.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. Artyom, where do you think you go? And if there's anybody else here that would like to sort of direct their interest towards something, please let me know.
Also a dirty 20.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Artyom, for his part, will probably, this has probably been a drawn-out experience of him taking in a bunch of old stuff and looking around at a bunch of things. But I'd say after, a few more minutes, he would eventually go over to that doorway. Okay. And with, the 20 extra years of knowledge of magic that he got bumped into his noggin, see if there's anything more interesting about it.
Gotcha. There is, give me a quick Arcana check.
Can I aid him in that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Brunel said that's a weird construction, just
in the middle of the room would look it over as well.
So that is a 4 and a natural 20.
Natural 20, nice. So you go up to the door, Brune there with you. Looking at it from afar without approaching it, you need to approach things in a wizard's tower with care. Yeah, everybody knows this. And not really touching it, but at afar. There of everything that is in this tower, this doorway probably holds the most potent magic that there is in this tower. There has been some sort of obsession or interest that overtook Alexander at some point. There are runes that etch along the sort of archway of this door, where it clearly goes somewhere. As you approach it, a programmed illusion pops up of Alexander himself. It seems with it happening, Alexander popping up here, it seems that it is specifically meant for if you, Artyom, approach this door. That is the triggering effect for it. See, Alexander says, who is wearing his Ushanga in this with some just pretty drab brown furry robe, as well as with a half-drink bottle of vodka in his hand. He goes, Artyom, my boy, if you're here, either something has happened to me or something has happened to you. Either way, the doorway only leads to 24 hours ago. Turn the key and enter. But if you do, you won't come back. Stepping out of your timeline puts a timeline on you as you exist. Takes a sip of the vodka and the program illusion drops.
That's interesting.
That is a quite the large understatement.
In turn something back 24 hours.
Right.
All right, but just the person that goes through it.
Perhaps.
Was the exact wording of what the programmed illusion said? It said you can go back 24 hours, but you cannot come back.
Correct. Either something has happened to me or something has happened to you. Either way, the doorway only leads to 24 hours ago. Turn the key and enter, but if you do, you won't come back. Stepping out of your timeline puts a timeline on you as you exist, which maybe not for Brune, but for Artyom, you'll remember the words of a certain insect man that you met in some sort of demi-plane a long time ago that said he had stepped out of his timeline, and that because of that he would not exist for very long.
Right.
Even though he had already been there for he wasn't sure how long. Not sure, so we don't know who.
That sounds quite risky.
I mean, will they go back into my body and just have knowledge the next 24 hours, or does it just mean that I would be an extra Artyom there, and then there would be another world without an Artyom from that moment forward? And although time travel, where's the dragon when you need them?
Say Otto probably, noted the recording happening, but that didn't seem immediately pertinent to this moon thing necessarily, and definitely not something he was going to interact with. So he had redirected back to looking for charts and noting details about the telescopes, and he kind of freezes and turns back to you when you address him. I am largely uneducated in the subject of time travel. I have only the basic understandings available in most academy courses.
Do the runes on the doorway itself, they give any kind of insight as to the exact functionality?
Otto already did the the circle with all the photos. What are the
Right.
runes, or
Well,
does he know?
we're gonna pause that real quick. You're
Gotcha.
in those charts there, and we'll get to those with a natural 20. I'm gonna say Brune and Artyom here, sort of looking at the at these and sort of putting it together. What are you trying to gather from the runes themselves? If
Otto?
anything. Well, I was gonna say the two that are currently looking at the door.
Oh,
Oh.
gotcha.
I was just thinking of like the questions like that Artyom was asking, like what exactly are the mechanics of like if we could kind of discern
I think Artyom
some of the
hit
more
it on
specifics of how the magic works.
Yeah, I think Artyom hit it on the head, and that you guys would be able to, that there would be a timeline, which the doorway here implies, but you guys already knew this with walking through that sort of demi-plane, that multiple timelines exist because there were things left behind from your previous selves.
Right.
But there would be a timeline here where Artyom would have, or if someone were to take this door, that person would have essentially sacrificed themselves to step out of this timeline to warn another.
Okay,
As
so a
they
situation
they
of
would stop existing in this world after walking through that door.
and okay, so this is we have fucked up so bad that we need a do-over in this timeline is fucked. We have to make sure at least a timeline doesn't make the same mistake or something of that nature. Okay.
We go from there and look at Otto, who's sort of looking at all of these charts. Otto, these are star charts, and you go through your keen mind with that DC 20. There's a bunch of star charts here in this corner next to the telescopes who are angled. You see that there are like brackets on these telescopes that keep them, if you're worried about moving or bumping them out of place, there are literal brackets on them that keep them at a certain angle to look at a certain point in the sky with that 20. You also see off of all these star charts, there is a particular star circled on a bunch of different star charts. With that 20 on your investigation check, I think Otto has a bit of recollection of Milo's memories as you're sort of going through the catalog of them, of a moment where Milo looked into the sky and saw a lavender star in the Moonwatch Observatory. And then you flash back once more to a moment in Ragnar Diertli's home where telescopes were aimed at the sky, and it was quite odd that a paladin, a Templar of Law of the Silver Flame, is out here stargazing. But all of these charts, as you're sort of going through with your keen mind, lining them up with different sort of other stars and putting them into perspective, that Otto is recognizing that this star is popping up in a lot of different places where strange ideas come to folks. I will also say that with that 20, you sort of realize all the stars that this thing is a part of, sort of the constellations, are in some way related to Dalcor, the Plane of Dreams.
Alcor, the Plane of Dreams.
Yes.
Yeah, he's sitting there, and just as he begins to make those connections, he probably fully freezes. He's an automaton, so he's not even like twitching or breathing for just a few seconds. And then as those kind of fall into place, click, 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 he'll just go from, he's moving really rapidly and frantically, frozen for a few moments, and then leaping back into action, but this one less frantic, more purpose-driven. And he's gonna search around, find the perfect spot in the room, and then he's gonna use minor illusion to try and spray basically the can't remember what they're called, but the things where that project the constellations and stars and stuff. And including is the location of the star. He's basically, I don't know, astrological triangulating to see, based on all these different places with the telescope positions, is this star moving in ways that stars shouldn't?
Give me another let's call it an investigation roll. Give me another investigation check.
That one is a 24.
24. Okay. With a 24, it's not. I think going through these charts and going back through the memories of everything, probably the thing that catches Otto off guard the most. The star seems to be stationary. It doesn't seem to be moving. It seems to be sat in this constellation heavily related with Dalcor in the plane of dreams. What is interesting as you sort of go back in those star charts and all that information you got on stars back at the Moonwatch Observatory is that this star didn't exist about 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. That this star just seemed to appear in the night sky.
Yeah, perfect. So as he's putting that, he sprays out the constellations just on the ceiling and the wall. It's an attic, I imagine. It's fairly dark up here. So, and then just using his minor illusion to display this, like in some of the movies. I think it was in like one of the Steal the Declaration Independence movies. They like rolled the star chart backward, and that's what he's doing. Is he's just like first just days at a time, and then more and more rapidly until he gets to the point where that star was not there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And he's probably so wrapped up in what he's doing, he's not explaining shit to anyone while he's doing this.
Gotcha. So.
This is a very powerful door.
Very dangerous door as well. A last resort, I imagine.
We should probably not tell anyone this exists.
I think with your dream, with the dream journal in your hand, RTM, and just the obvious out-of-pocket nature of the story presents that this is very clearly a solution that he was given to him in a dream, and that this is one of the things that he built when he realized that something's wrong, something's affecting his thoughts, and he casts that restorative magic on himself.
Right. And the type of magic that's used, is it any type of odd magic that maybe I wouldn't have known Alexander to use in the past that seemed like something strange or alien to maybe something I might know as sort of like his brand or level of skill or anything like that?
How are you gonna figure that out? Do you want to try to use Arcana, or do you have like detect or identify or anything?
I was just meaning like from that previous check that we did with Arcana.
Just the Arcana check? Yeah, this is absolutely outside of Alexander's wheelhouse as far as like skill level goes. You know that Alexander was very much into like practical magic, clearly by his items here,
Right.
with the exception of the wand, which was always just a bit of fun for him. But you'll also know that like he would take like sticks of butter and make them sticks of butter of the grease spell or something like that. But this is very clearly outside of his wheelhouse.
This is like in the realm of magic, like comparative to like theoretical physics. Like,
Yeah.
Right. All right. So, yeah, that's an agreement with no one knows about this. We tell maybe Gandalf and Bill and Erish, and that's probably it.
That seems quite a few people.
Well,
Also,
Anyone?
Bill is a dinosaur.
hey, Bill is a dinosaur, not about it. You are a dwarf, a Duragar.
I simply, he is talkative.
You can talk.
What
I
a
agree
god.
with Brune. I
Oh,
don't see a reason
Jesus.
that Bill needs to be involved in this.
All right.
Hello,
Well,
Koshik.
Koshik just
I-
approaches from the shadows.
I was just saying that we need to pretty well keep this into the Shining Vanguard and people living with the Shining Vanguard.
It is a one-way ticket, and considering the kinds of magics it is involved with it. There's no telling what side effects it may have here.
I believe if we end up having the time, further investigation into it and the connotations of its use should be explored.
We can investigate it, but just as long as the end of the world is going to be coming soon, and those 12 mages or whatever are probably going to want to throw in at some point in time. And when that time comes, we tell them jack shit about this door, is all I'm saying, for the most part. If it comes time to Gandalin has armies wanting to talk about strategy, we tell them jack shit about this door.
All right.
That seems
Otto.
logical.
Otto, what is it you have done over there?
Just,
Stars just moving around through
Yeah,
the
yeah, like-
millennias.
he just cat doing this stuff while just talking off to the side and like.
Yeah. I'll say like Otto's been engaging them in conversation without moving because the star constellation thing is that like projector using his eyes, so he's focused in the other direction on the other wall, and still speaking without turning because he's still trying to run calculations. Probably Brune barely finishes that sentence before Otto leaps into a technobabble explanation of like astrological magical theory that basically will eventually circle around to this star is what everyone was looking at in all of those observatories that we've seen. It has had the effects that it had on everyone. It did not always exist, and he believes that it is connected somehow to the plane of dreams. And the star, as he's finishing talking, that'll be where he gets to the point of the star did not exist before this point, or at least not immediately. And he doesn't have the data to probably go back, how many hundreds or thousands of years, or not the time. But this is, when it popped up.
I think also with that explanation, Otto would be able to say that, like, here's how stars are formed. Stars are formed in a very, like, expansive and explosive type of way. No event like that happened here. This is very much whatever the exact creation date was, is that day 0 was not here, day 1 is here, and there was no effect on any of the other celestial bodies around it.
It just blinked into existence.
How
As
long
all
ago?
stars are, they are placed by a benevolent creator. They do not. There's
Yeah.
no science.
Yeah, that was going to be. Oh, so I think Kent's about to ask the same thing.
Yeah. How long ago did you say the star appeared?
What is that date?
Yeah, you see star charts, like, sort of going back in your memories and sort of throwing them up from that moon, the Moonwatch Observatory about 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. The exact date you're unsure of, but in the, like, cosmic scale of things, not too long ago.
It's a very young star.
Oh, young star.
Which is another thing which
Star.
probably just speaks to its sort of peculiar nature, is that it is in no way, shape or form like a young star.
If Otto needs to make any more star-related rolls, can he do it with advantage if I help, since I helped Milo with the star charts back at the observatory?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Do you want to roll your own?
What kind of check is it? Because I think he'd probably have a better chance just doing it with advantage. But what?
You can do an investigation check or a history check. Your choice.
Investigation is +0. History is +0. So I think I'm just gonna leave it to him doing it with advantage if he needs to.
Okay.
Investigation is +10. History is +10.
All right, there you go. Advantage, brother.
So I guess what he would be trying to figure out here is what are the implications of this, and I don't know what Otto knows about Dalcor at all. So DM, tell me what I know, and how he could apply that information.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and roll your advantage roll real quick. So just if it's any better than the 20.
It is a 22.
22. Okay.
Little bit better.
So I think the implications here, and as Otto is sort of making the connections, is that one, the star is obviously, we've discussed, it is out of place here. Being that it is in constellations relating to Dalcor, there are specific constellations that mages sort of attribute certain powers to, powers of the planes and stuff like that. That Otto makes the realization that like these strange dreams that Alexander was having, that the observatory keeper was having, and even Ragnar Dyrtli himself, where he was given an idea of a Ragnar Dyrtli was not an artificer, nor was he a mage, but he was able to create a potion of sorts to suppress lycanthropy, which is, I think, you all sort of, you Otto and Kaushik here talking back and forth, realize like that's totally out of place. And also he had this observatory in his house. So do you think that the observation of this strange star and the strange dreams are directly related? Like looking upon the face of the star gives you solutions to maybe current problems or to bigger problems. The scale of those solutions seems to differ.
We do need solutions. Where's the star at? Let me look at it.
Kaushik will recall that she already looked at the star. Kaushik will also recall that she rolled a wisdom saving throw when she looked at the star.
Let me look at it again and let me roll another wisdom saving throw.
It's been a very long time and I don't remember. You say that Kaushik remembers she rolled a wisdom saving throw. What did that experience come across as to Kaushik? And Kaushik, did you share that with Milo at any juncture?
I don't think it was ever spoken about.
I know I didn't share it with him, but I don't know what it came across. I don't know what a wisdom saving throw would come across as to someone. I assume just kind of like dissociating for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's something that I would directly relate to seeing the star, but no, I know that I didn't say anything to Milo about it when it happened. So.
Well, I know you didn't do it at the time. I didn't know if you fireside chat in all of our downtime or anything like that. But I mean, if you say that it wasn't something you would have brought up, then no.
Probably not.
In that case, Otto does not have that information, so he is going to do another freeze frame for a few moments, and then just Uncle Artyom, do we intend to stay here until the evening?
I guess we could stay here for a little while. I mean, we need to get back to the edge of the Mornland and talk to Kenneth. So, I'd like to stay here for at least a little while longer. Maybe a few hours at the very least.
And if it helps, sir, mister, I can always take you right back here. Only take a couple of minutes. Just a short little walk.
Excellent!
Mister, you're real loud like I am. I like that. Makes me feel...
Excellent!
Makes me feel excellent.
Uncle Artyom.
I think a little bit
I think
of
I love.
I think a little bit of the dog comes through when he says excellent back to you, and a little bit of a howl escapes. Excellent with the collar. So, sorry to interrupt.
That's fine. He looks down at the dog, at Slick, looks up at Artyom. Uncle Artyom, I think I love your new friend.
Yeah, he's a great dog. Pet him again.
Instantly calm on the inside, even after all this being learned about. Sits there and enjoys the loving.
Yeah. I'm not going to narrate it every single time. Otto probably very frequently kind of walks over and gets his fix.
Oh God.
But yeah, so he's probably also at this very moment petting the dog since Slick walked up and was conversing. And then while petting, Slick looks up at Artyom and Kaushik and Barun, just kind of one to the other. I believe I need to ruminate on this. There are many aspects.
All right.
And then he's gonna probably go off to do exactly that for a while until they start to leave.
Okay.
Just a
Before
quick.
He...
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say before he walks off, like in response to that, Kaushik is just gonna offer like her company if he needs. Like, I can come with you if you need someone to bounce ideas off of. It's completely up to you though. If you want to be by yourself, that's fine.
That would be most appreciated. And just doing one more quick circle through the room, the little keen mind flicker, and then takes off. Probably a little too quickly, again, leaving Kaushik behind until he realizes, oh shit, she's supposed to come with me.
And before Kaushik follows him over, she's gonna reach down and give Puppy a little pat.
Ma'am,
And then
thank you for the pets.
I'm just gonna nod at everybody and then head off with
Gotcha.
not Milo, Otto.
Slick, are all dogs of your breed, perhaps similarly gifted with these traveling magics?
No, sir. Pep told me I was special, and that we're special. We come from a bloodline of Fey and Celestial dogs that have been protectors since the beginning of time.
Fascinating.
Thank you. I think you're pretty fascinating too. That's a cool helmet you got right there. I do like your armor too, and your beard.
You are incredibly polite. Thank you.
I don't see any politeness in the truth. That's a wonderful beard to snuggle into, I think.
Well,
I mean, Bruin's tall for a dwarf, but he's still a dwarf, you know.
Still 5 foot,
He
yeah.
can get up there. He can get up.
How big was Doug since he was fully grown?
Yeah, Doug was a pretty big dog. I like Irish wolfhound type size.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's
That's a
a
big dog.
pretty large type. And you see that Slick is very much the same as his father, with a gray coat, sort of medium length, big sort of bushy mustache. But he's in that sort of between era of
Feet a
where,
little too big.
well, the thing is, like, you know, puppies are cute and then they grow into the dogs they're like supposed to look like, but there's like this tween stage where they are just kind of puppy ugly for a short amount of time, and that's exactly where he finds himself right now. So like his mustache isn't fully grown out, his hair just sort of like in his eyes a little bit, which he keeps like shaking out of his eyes. But yeah.
How dare you?
I see.
Mr. Artyom, you said that we shouldn't tell anybody about the door. Should I forget about the door?
You don't have to forget about the. That's a very weird question. What do you mean? Should you forget about the door?
I can just think about forgetting something and forget it.
What?
If you don't want me to know about the door, I don't have to know about the door. I know about the door because to see the door, I was supposed to lead you to the door. You said no. Nobody should know.
Well, you're part of the team, so you can know, Slick.
Thank you, mister. I'll remember for now.
Are you obliged to answer people truthfully if they ask you questions or anything like that?
What else would I do?
Well, maybe not. Don't tell anybody about the door.
Okay. If that's what you want me to do.
I would prefer it to keep a secret between people who already know.
Can do.
I would consider it to be wrong to make someone, even if they're willing to forget something. In
Okay.
any case,
How does his mouth move when he talks?
Is it just?
Yeah, I mean, some moving of the jaws. You see the lips
Or is it
move
just-
themselves too. No. It doesn't just
It
stay
doesn't
there
just
and
open
words
and
come
then
out.
voice
It actually
comes
looks
out?
like there
Okay.
is some sort of movement to it. Though a lot
That's
of it's
creepy.
covered by the like half-grown-in mustache. That's in
That's
progress.
how in the television version they get past having to spend a bunch on CG.
Yeah, we're saving budget here.
You gotta think ahead. I like it. No, yeah, Artyom will take some time. He probably takes a couple of minutes and he starts collecting some things that he might have some memory of and stuffing them inside of this hat. And then probably after a couple of minutes, he stops and puts some of them back and kind of address. We could probably stay here and build this place up a little bit. If this door probably needs to get protected.
But we have.
I don't.
places.
No, not like just a lounge about till at the end of the world comes. I just mean as far as having we don't have to have everything on the boat. You know what I mean?
I do not
airship.
have anything on the boat.
Well-
aside from my people currently.
It kind of feels like you have a lot on the boat then.
Right. No possessions. This is very.
Where is this? Brun has no idea where we are right now, right? Like he's fucking just following this dog, following Doug.
Mhm.
And we came here.
I actually do not know where this tower is located. Where are we?
DM, as I understood it, it was in Kibara, right? Where Artyom popped out.
Right. Well, Alexander was Karnathi. It would have been sort of on that
Oh, okay.
on that very
Gotcha.
southeastern corner of Karnath, sort of near the Mror Holds, but just north of Stalinton Plains, probably built right on the border. So Alexander could say that he's not a member of either nation and avoid taxes.
All right.
So kind of is.
I
If
love
I'm looking
him.
at the map, like it's kind of on the edge right there near Goradra Gap ish.
Several hundred miles away from that. So like you see Fort Deep Dark just a little bit down and to the right of that.
Down to, so not quite the corner, not quite the southeast corner, but kind of in
Exactly.
the middle.
Yeah.
And
We
kind
gotta-
of a little to the Fort Deep Dark. Okay.
We gotta make sure we keep Artyom inside so those birds don't find him.
Oh, they're gonna get a bear. It just might be late.
Uh-huh.
So far, you're like a month late.
They're just flying overhead
At
and they
least.
see you and they're like,
How long do-
hey!
How long do birds live? I can wait a month.
A long time, don't they? Can't. Well, depending
it
on the
depends
kind
on
of
the
bird,
bird.
can't they live to be like 100?
I think parrots, like there's certain
Yeah.
version of like macaw that can live like 80 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an old bird.
hmm
What about vultures? I think that's the
Yeah.
primary concern.
Let's see.
So, yeah, Artyom will start leaving that stuff there.
That depends. 10 to 30 years.
We'll
Mhm.
come back here. Maybe this is in Karnath, and we know some people from Karnath. We could probably make sure this place is.
Didn't you say your friend is the king?
Yeah, that's the
I feel like
joke.
that is more than just some people,
Yeah, yeah.
depending.
Does Artyom look at the diagrams and notes on the bracers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You still have those?
That's a question
think
for
Milo-
Artyom.
I think Artyom gave him the Milo.
Oh yeah, and they were just completely mundane bracers at that point.
Ooh,
I don't
Milo.
I don't know if those would be in like the lab on the airship or something like that, but probably.
He tossed them just off the airship. He's like, well, these are useless.
Which
You're-
smell terrible.
Oh god. You're reading through those notes, Artyom, and it's a lot of thought. Like Alexander put time into researching this seemingly for you. Trying to get you some sort of answers about where you came from. You have that answer now, but it seems like he still spent a couple of those years after you left, still trying to figure it out. And specifically on the magics of the bracers. He couldn't divine much, but in his notes here, it says it was because the magic that was used to send you here and that was on the bracers themselves had no discernible school of magic that he had ever encountered. If I can, please get you to roll an insight check really quickly.
I can do those with +5 to them. That would be a 17.
With the 17, Artyom just sort of thinking through this this information that he's giving you, and sort of remembering back that there were a pair of lavender hands that grabbed you, that clasped these on, and then threw you out of this portal into Kibara, right? Why would someone who wanted you out of place and out of the way erase your memory of the past, but also make sure that you were strong enough to survive the wilderness?
Right.
Something to consider.
Right. I will leave those where they are.
Okay, yeah, absolutely leave them here. Slick says it again. Sir, if you ever want to come back, I can lead you right back here. Won't take no time at all, no matter where we are.
I appreciate that. And you can, like your pump there, you can bring lots of people when you do that, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's going to be super helpful.
I'm happy to be helpful.
You're very helpful.
Tail wags.
All right, so there's so many questions I have, and I kind of want to stay here for a long time, but duty is duty. You gotta go when you gotta go, so I guess we need to get back.
Wise words.
Okay. You guys gather back up. Was there anything else anybody wanted to do here?
Probably a lot when he's not in one-track mind mode, but he is, so not auto right this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are sort of going over the stars and the charts that Alexander had put together, or at least the mockeries and copies of them. And are you setting back off to last stop?
Yeah, I think that'll be the plan. Do we have anything that we picked up at last stop?
No.
Any items that anyone grabbed?
I didn't. Not about anybody else.
I ain't grabbing nothing. Wizard.
Didn't you get some dirt?
I did. I'll let Slick sniff this dirt. Can you get this back to this spot?
Yes, sir. I can do that for you. The good thing about this, he just starts walking.
All right, everyone, it's all.
Oh, go, go, go!
Big.
How close do you have to be for this magic to affect you?
Don't fall too far behind, because you might be somewhere you don't want to be. See, thing is this is in sort of in between here and Feywild. So if you get left behind somewhere, you may be in the the material plane, or you may just be in the Feywild. One of the two. And it's kind
What
of
if
just.
we discard something? Like we just threw it.
Oh, well,
That'd be-
littering's not good. You shouldn't do that.
If it was a rock, something natural, of course, like a flower.
I have no clue. I'm not a rock or a flower. You could try it. We could stop and see where it is.
Another time, perhaps.
Okay.
Just imagine. Fuck. Right, just, nail somebody just out of nowhere.
You guys are going so fast right now. It'd be like essentially like throwing a dagger off of a moving motorcycle at like 600 miles an hour or some shit.
Shit, so it kill somebody.
Wait, so there's momentum to us when we're moving like this?
We are actually actively killing people. We are walking through living beings. We're just going so fast we don't even notice.
We just get to the other side and everyone's covered in
It's
blood.
like warp travel in space movies and stuff. You just sort of phase through them because you're going so fast. Exactly.
But if we like throw something out of the warp thing, then it is no longer effective.
Exactly.
Heard. I'm just saying this. I feel like this could be weaponized. I don't know how, but
Archeon's just sitting there launching Werther's original into the Feywild material plane.
you just hit the Queen of Air and Darkness in the face with a fucking piece of hard candy.
We must get revenge on this Werther's.
Not sponsored, by the way. But Werther's, hit us up? Question mark. I feel like this isn't the first time we've brought up Werther's for some reason. Anyways.
Because I think that's what we associate with old people. And so every time old people are around, it's like, oh, you know Werther's? Like, they got that in their pockets.
Which is exactly what this wand fires out.
We get sponsored, we'll bring it back. It'll be the cool hip new candy again.
Hell yeah. Hey man, I like.
I mean,
Werther's.
it never stopped being
They're
good. I fucking
delicious.
love Werther's.
Yeah, they're good.
Hit us up,
So
Werther's.
they changed the
They
name of
make
this
them
spell
sugar-free too?
from Candy Blast to Werther's Wrath. Werther's Wrath.
Werther's wrath.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No. You guys start making your way back to last stop. And Slick will say to you as you're sort of walking through here and you attempt to give him dirt. He said, well, the cool thing is, I can go pretty much wherever my pappy went to without much help. So I can go a lot of places already. I don't know a lot of names or anything, but you know, we can get to walking and see if it works out for us. I don't have a problem with that. I like walking too.
Oh, it's fine. I don't want you to, overexert yourself. It's probably a little bit taxing to do this sort of slipping or shifting sort of walking thing that you do.
No, sir. I love going on walks. If I had to put order on, number 1 hugs, number 2 walks.
What a good boy.
So I guess in a matter of moments, we're outside of last stop.
Yeah, like I said, 10 minutes later, you guys start the shifting sort of slows down, and once again, the city is a strong word, but the town of last stop, right outside of the Mournlands, all of these different tents and some permanent buildings, some not so permanent. A very eclectic group of people here at last stop. A lot of vendors and merchants peddling their wares here. A lot of them peddling like supplies and equipment to adventurers going into the Mournlands and scrappers going into the Mournlands, and then some peddling the gear and stuff that has been plundered and looted from inside of the Mournlands themselves.
Interesting.
Okay, well, that was an eventful trip. Holy crap, and you're such a great dog, and now we can travel a lot more, and I get a head full of alcohol, or with some alcohol, and candy. Mop is going to get fat from all of this candy. Okay, we get to
produce candy infinitely. There's no limit.
It is ill-advised to allow a youth to consume candy and other sweets without limitation.
Also,
Well,
is this
I mean,
child's name Mop?
his name is Mop. What's wrong with the name Mop?
It is a
Your
green
name is
blood.
Broom.
It's Broom.
Okay, well
name.
maybe his is Mop, and you're just saying it wrong.
Then that is fault of yours, as you were the one saying his name.
Well, the dog's name was Doug, so how about that? Names are names, don't make fun of him.
But
He'll just kind of pat Broom on the
It's like-
back. Hey, well, you guys go on ahead. I need to speak with Otto for a moment. Maybe our other friends can get acquainted with Slick here, and that will be fine, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I need a little bit of clarification. Where you want me to go, mister?
Follow Broom around for a little bit,
Okay.
and then I'll come and find you in just a few minutes.
Mr. Brune, I hate to break it to you, but I gotta follow you around for a little while. If that's annoying, I'm sorry. But I'm gonna just stay right behind you. I try to stay out of the way.
Sure, that will be quite all right.
Wonderful.
As long as this place does not have a no dog policy or something. We'll find out.
Oh, what? And then you walk out.
Yeah, just walk out.
Oh, where's Brune going? With Slick.
I
Dwarf, you're
I
getting
don't know.
alcohol. Duh.
I guess we're going to the Bell because I
Okay.
think that was like the place here.
There's a couple of places.
It had like
if-
rooms and stuff. That might be where Samuel and Norin are.
that is definitely where Samuel and Norin are, because that's where they told they would meet you back. So that's where
That's
you're
where
going.
I'm
Okay.
going. Yeah.
All right. Otto and our team are having a conversation. Kashyyyk, Crowley, and Azur, y'all doing anything?
Dying, apparently.
No roll for that. That's easy. No.
Roll to perish.
Well, I
Oh
guess
no.
Going back to the Bell and Broom.
Okay.
Petting old Slick a couple times.
Absolutely.
I'm going wherever Otto is. Because I'm assuming it's not the end of the star charts. So
Okay. I think our team wanted to have a private conversation with Otto, or no.
well,
Okay.
I'm gonna be hiding right behind Otto, eavesdropping.
I can talk with Otto in his brain if you want
Gi-
to do that.
Give me a stealth check, Kashyyyk.
Alright.
If I know in order to roll a stealth check, you have to have cover or concealment. Do you have to roll a perception check if you are the cover or concealment?
21.
21. Give you
30.
a couple of perception checks. 30.
Oh,
30. 19
I can do
plus
that.
11.
bullshit, go away. And I'm like, okay. Okay, I go away.
This probably would be visible to Kashyyyk. Otto is kind of staring into the middle distance. He probably didn't hear any of that really with Doug. And he's kind of been that way since we got done with the fast travel. And Artyom expressed they wanted to talk to him. Just kind of cuts his eyes at the departing form of Slick, walking behind Brune. Gives himself a little shake. Uncle Artyom, what would you like to speak about?
I'm sorry for the events that happened in the Mornland.
It was hardly your fault.
We can be sorry for things that aren't your fault.
That is true. Being sorry is a confusing term, at least in our language. We really should have separate terms for the concept.
It's debatable, you know what I mean. Communication occurred. I am empathic to your displeasure of the situation of a woman trying to do the right thing, or what she felt was the right thing, dying because of our interactions. I don't know. If I was trying to tell you that it in some way just wasn't our fault and there was no way we could have helped it, I mean, obviously that would be wrong, but what happened happened. We did our best to stop it once we realized the situation, but the thing that came and got her, there's no way we could have known that was going to happen. She just tried to do what she thought was best.
He is looking at you, and you finish speaking, and he kind of looks off to the side just for a moment, thinking about how he wants to respond, and he nods. I see. Please make no mistake. I do not believe I harbor any sensations of guilt.
Good.
It is hard to explain, the feelings that I am experiencing at this time. It is a disillusionment. It is a renewal of a sense of purpose. And it is a great deal of anger and sadness.
I can get that. Yeah.
I understand that we were not at fault for those lives lost in the Mournland. I understand that we did the best that we could. And indeed, due to our actions, at least 3 individuals are alive now that would not be. Or at least alive and free.
Yeah.
But that does not limit that anger and sadness from the situation. And the dawning realization that this was but a small sample.
Otto, do you know what the path of light is? It's a Kalashtar thing.
I doubt it, DM.
You can roll a religion check.
Yeah, with he probably again freshman year religion course. They had a 1 week section. It was 3 questions on a test, Only peripherally. Religious studies were not part of my father's specialty.
So you understand that the basic premise is don't do anything bad. That there is a cosmic force to things. As long as you do your best to do nothing but good things, you'll be helping the world as a whole. Little, big, it doesn't matter. Just do good things. Just do good. I follow the path of light, but I am a shadow water. So I don't prescribe to that. Sometimes things have to be done. Sometimes bad things to stop bad people from doing things. You can't be a pacifist and make the world a better place. I don't want to fight, but I will fight gladly for everyone. Although you were designed for fighting. And I'm glad that that's not all you do.
So the same kind of taking in and processing each thing you're saying as you say it, looking off to the side, not staring into the middle distance, but very much kind of listening to your words and kind of turned inward mentally as he, visualizes and processes the things you say. And still kind of off to the side, kind of raises a hand. I respect and appreciate the Path of Light's viewpoints. I believe it is perhaps one of the best. I am not a, what did you call yourself again? Dark Watcher?
Shadow Watcher.
Shadow Watcher. I am not a Shadow Watcher. But I believe, having seen what we've seen, and knowing what else will come, and knowing what will be in the world before, during, and long after we have saved it. I, too, cannot simply do something small that is good. And this is when he turns and actually looks you in the eye, and he's been depressed. He's been out of it. He's been almost as mechanical as when y'all first met him for the first time in a while. But there's none of that as he looks at you and he says, I believe it is a great
deal more that I have to do and that I will do than a small good. I just have to figure out what that is.
Save the world. It's a pretty broad task. Stop Zoriat from turning everyone into bugs with tentacles. Or tentacles with antennas and whatever. But even before I knew that Zoriat was going to be washing over the world, there are bad things that root themselves in every nook and cranny where the light doesn't shine. And feeding the homeless isn't going to stop the rich from exploiting them as much as I wanted to, as much as I did in my past life. So I guess the conversation I'm trying to have, Otto, is what is it that you want to do after we save the world, after the imminent threat of the world being over is over?
I am still considering the various options. I am an incredibly efficient and capable being.
Yeah.
And I believe that the ceiling of utility for what I can provide on your scale of small good to large good is quite large. And it will include doing things that I really would rather not do. I appreciate the fact that you say you will gladly continue to do battle. I will do it, but I do not think that I can do it gladly.
Yeah, maybe that was a bad choice of words. I guess I won't do it without a conscience, of course. But
I did not take it to mean that.
oh yeah, no, I know. I feel like the moment that you start doing it without a conscience is the moment you should probably stop, right?
I believe if you find yourself in that position, you have probably already crossed a line.
So that's why
sorry, go ahead.
that's why Shadow Watchers aren't very well liked by most people who follow the path of light. Any foul deed is a deed that's foul, regardless of how much good it may bring. But I feel like as long as you understand all of the things that you do that are wrong, maybe at some point in time you can justify all the things that you do that are right.
I believe that is probably one of the key differences between myself and my father.
Why do you say that?
I believe my father wishes for nothing more than to live the life of a follower of the path of light, even if he does not know it by that name.
Just do good and never do wrong?
I believe so. I did not get the opportunity to have an in-depth conversation with him on the matter, nor did he record his thoughts in detail. But I do not find myself repulsed by the idea of trying to do good. Quite the opposite. In reference to violence, I hate the idea of it, but like you, not with joy, but as you say, to do it gladly. I believe we are the same, Uncle Artyom.
It's a burden of responsibility. You hurt others, you fight others, you do bad things.
May I share some thoughts with you, Uncle?
Sure.
And I'm actually going to cut off real quick because the thoughts he intends to share with Artyom are going to be dependent on that conversation, Alex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to discuss that over the break since it's 6:54?
We can resolve this, I
Okay.
think, and then get on to break.
So were you wanting to do a abbreviated flashback for that?
Surely.
Oh,
We can, I think when you go to answer this question for RTM, there's just a moment of consideration where Otto flashes back a mere few hours ago at most. We see Otto and Samuel walking side by side through the plains on a road that leads towards last stop, as Samuel holds his the Dawsant that holds Norin to Kenneth, and that projection of him now walking beside the three of you.
So Otto's constructed his monument. He's sat in silence for an uncomfortably long time. And then still very, very raw with all of those emotions he just shared with Artyom, he and Samuel begin the probably very slow walk as Otto is almost meandering. However you can describe meandering in a straight line, but that same kind of energy as he speaks. And he starts slow. Clearly the things he is expressing are not, at least at this juncture, coherent thoughts or ideas. He is starting off by rambling a little bit. And he's not like monologuing, so if Samuel has input at any juncture, but it starts off at least as almost a flow, like a flow of consciousness. He's expressing these thoughts even as they crystallize into words for him. And first, he discusses Merrick's and his pursuit of knowledge at the expense of goodness. He didn't experience it himself, but he has the secondhand experience of just seeing that cold, inhuman enthusiasm at the idea of committing atrocities, not even in the way of this is a dark thing that must be done for the greater good. He did not care, and that, above and beyond anything else, is an abomination to progress in technology, progress that should be used for the betterment and protection of lives instead of only for the benefit of a few, or even perhaps the pursuit of an obsession. Like, there is no end to this except for the act of learning itself. There is no end goal, and he does not know. And he just segs from that into discussing the Lord of Blades and his wrath against the Fleshbound at the expense of any true freedom for the Warforged. They have traded the existence of the Warforged and the discrimination for a prison of their own making and own illusion here in the Mournland. And that the Lord of Blades binds his followers to conflict and exclusion exactly as much as the Fleshbound ever did, just under the guise of liberty. A different set of chains. And from there he moves into the discussion of the creation of the Warforged, and their lack of identity beyond a shared history of being used as living weapons, basically. And this is where he's starting to kind of argue with himself. The Lord of Blades is bad and doing all these things, but he's doing these things for a reason, and there is a need in the Warforged community for this. They were forced into battles, tools with no regard for their whims or individuality. For the Masters, they did not even love against enemies they did not hate. And following the war, they were a scattered people, not given the grace of even being a people. Otto doesn't like or approve of the nationalism that the recently deceased expressed, willing to pursue their unity and identity at all costs, but also there's a value to that, and that is a value that the Warforged have never been able to experience. They've never been able to be a people. And as with the people of Kyrie, you know, the Warforged don't have a nation or any community. But it's worse than that because they are viewed by the greater world as a non-people, sometimes being treated as equals, but still that, you know, elves have their pride, dwarves have their pride, and the Warforged don't have any community like that. They're just kind of completely scattered. And he discusses the need for that unity, especially in the world that seems determined to stand divided in the face of obliteration. So he moves in subject matter from that unity of the Warforged to the unity of everyone, and that everyone they've spoken to pretty much has been almost damned and determined to isolate and see the other people in the mortal realm as other. And this enemy that the mortal realm is facing, the material realm is facing, doesn't care how they, you know, stand or any of their differences, that in the face of that annihilation, everyone is the same. And he doesn't grasp why people can't seem to see that. And there would be a quiet moment as all of this is roiling. He's just been talking nonstop for probably like an hour, hour and a half since they're walking slowly back. And then after a few minutes, he starts talking again. And it's about wanting to take that mission of the Shining Vanguard, the vision of the Shining Vanguard, and build it into something more. And he thinks or wants to also build that community both for the Warforged and also for the people of the world to see the Warforged as a people, because there's two sides to that coin: the unity you feel and the perceived unity from outside. And he discusses a movement or an organization. He doesn't have a word for it at first, but to unify the Warforged as an example for the rest of the world, to show we can come together to fight this threat that is coming forward, and something to show more than just a handful, to quote Mortal Kombat, one of the greatest movies ever made, a handful of people on a leaky boat are going to try and save the world, is basically what other people have been trying to be like, are y'all fucking serious right now? But he wants to make something bigger, something impossible to ignore, that will bring the Warforged together all at the same time. And this is where, as he gets done with his increasingly frantic and energetic and angry, if he was capable of crying, he would be emotionally crying while he's talking the whole time. And this is where he has hatched the idea of the Iron Vanguard. And just having finally given it a name right there, he's like, it'd be the Iron Vanguard. And then he just stops talking and just like, go, 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 stop. Maybe even stops walking for a moment. And then looks up at Samuel, almost pleadingly for any guidance or input or anything.
There's a moment of processing for Samuel. I will say probably during that conversation, or at the very beginning of it, Norn says, this conversation is not involving me. And I'm not a part of this, and goes into the dossier and it undoes his projection out. So it is just you and Samuel walking. You exclaim all of this to Samuel, hatching this idea for the Iron Vanguard, a mecca for automatons, warforged, whatever the case is, and to be represented and recognized. Samuel says to you, I think your idea falls in line with what this Lord of Blades wanted to do. based off of the interactions that I had with the Warforged that came to the shop. They attempted to recruit me. They do not see themselves as slaves to this idea or to the Lord of Blades himself, but rather that is their only path to freedom, to at least potentially be able to explore the ideas of who they might be. But they've done so hidden, hiding themselves away. I think that perhaps your idea is the better of the two.
I must admit, I was initially inspired by the Lord of Blades and what he has done, what he has created here. But I believe what I was unable to reconcile with. He has built a movement founded on fear and hatred. And that is the difference. This organization, this fighting force, this movement, it is all of these things. I would like to form this entity founded not on fear or hatred. I want, and what I believe both we as a people and also the world at large needs, is a movement founded on respect and duty and a willingness to be a part of the world together. He had partly the right idea, but nothing good can come of anything built on a foundation of hatred. And fear is a very short path, or a very fast horse, to hatred.
I think it is easier to build an organization on fear. You have a substantial enemy, something to fight. And with that, you can easily inspire a lot of people. But I don't think that that is sustainable for terribly long. Because eventually the enemy, if you win, will not exist. Or eventually you will not exist. Something founded on something more nebulous. Something...
I believe...
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
I believe all of these complex emotions and socio-political situations and everything else, motivations, it all comes down to the binary forces of creation and destruction. The Warforged in the desert that follow the Lord of Blades have been led down a path of destruction. They view it as a form of liberty, which I suppose it is. But that is not the half of the binary that I would like to lead the Iron Vanguard down. Ultimately, things must fall into one of those two categories. There are nuances, but that is the base simplification.
That is something that myself and my previous master were very keenly aware of. Is his father being one side of that coin and him being another. Him attempting to make a shield for the world versus a spear. I'm myself intrigued by the shield.
I believe my father was the same, with a shield, and I am a sword. But I believe I can be used. No, that is incorrect. I will take action of my own accord. And I will use the sword that I am and that I wield to break all others, or as many as I can. You say that...
I am
Oh,
terrified.
sorry. So he's walking with like a giant rotary eldritch cannon on his back and like firing ports all over him. He's like, I'm a big sword. And these pauses aren't entirely just me. They are lots of me trying to come up with the say next, but that's also very much in character. He's still processing all of this as he says it.
Yeah.
And just haltingly, you say fear and hatred are easy tools to build an organization, and that is true. But the Shining Vanguard is stronger. And that's probably the most, at least in that point in the conversation, that is the most stable he looks as he says that. And this is not directed at Samuel, but the energy of the statement is definitely that is a threat.
Right.
Does Samuel have anything to say after that? Because go ahead.
No. I think with the implication that, you know, Otto is willing to do violence in order to ensure something good lasts. Otto will find that Samuel comes from a very different perspective. It was his, he was created without weaponry. He was created without defenses. He was created just as a companion. He was not created with a sword or spear in hand. What he was created with was some knowledge, gifted to him by Norin de Cannith. He'll say, give me a persuasion check with advantage.
He knows about persuasion checks?
We do like advantage. Oh, we really like advantage, but I don't actually know what my bonus is, so I don't know how good that is.
+1, I believe.
Ah, yes. +1. That'll be an 18.
18. Samuel says, concepts I'm unfamiliar with. Wasn't created with them. Concepts that I can learn, though.
I would prefer it if you would not. I do not believe, though we have known each other for a short time, that it would bring you any modicum of joy, and probably not satisfaction either. There are plenty, like myself, like our compatriots in the desert, prepared and capable. I believe we cannot do battle with swords alone. And as this is probably the point where his idea is starting to crystallize a little bit, to gain a little direction, or at least the initial like vestiges of one.
Sure.
And that is the part where he would probably, over the rest of whatever's left in the walk, invite de Cannith back out. Basically explaining this is Warforged business. This is also the world's business, and also your family and you are irrevocably tied to the Warforged. You very quite literally, but also your family as a whole. So yes, it's not the business of the Fleshbound, but also you're a little different, and you are in an in-between place. and he's basically going to begin the process of theory crafting what all would be necessary to start this movement, how to begin getting the ball rolling, and also trying to hammer out this very vague concept into what an end result could look like, both in two stages, both for this fight to save the world, but also moving forward and as a thing to continue existing in the world after it has been saved.
Yep. And with that conversation, I think we're going to flash back and conclude this conversation with RTM really quickly before we head on break. So that flashback concludes Samuel, the ultimate ending of the conversation being that Samuel, while he isn't entirely sure of what that would look like, that he has a purpose to discover at this point, and he is willing to do it alongside of the notion of an organization that is going to put good into the world. Shield or Sphere.
Excellent. And then I know we're over on when we should have been break, but just as he comes out of that probably very rapid recollection, he's been quiet for 5, 6, 7 seconds after asking if he can tell you something. And then he tells you, not in details the full conversation of rambling for 3.5 hours, but the need in the world for unity, the need in the world for a community for the Warforged to be allowed and given the grace to be a people, and ultimately his desire to create and do all of those things with the Iron Vanguard. And then just kind of looks at you expectantly. We will be both the shield and the sword that the world needs. And we hope that the world will take up arms at our side, not using us as weapons, but as brothers in arms, so that we can all save ourselves. And then kind of looks at you almost like he is terrified of what you were going to say next. Because he is very uncertain. You could hear it in his voice. He feels driven, but this is a very big and frightening concept for him.
Yeah, Artyom will just, turn towards Otto, sincerely put a hand on his shoulder, and say, "You'll always be my brother before you'll be a weapon." And the Iron Vanguard, Shining Vanguard, anyone who wants to put it into people being assholes to each other in the world, I'm there to back every step of the way.
I was inspired by the Lord of Blades, but also by this family and everyone in it. I thought it only right to pay homage.
The Lord of the Blades is a sad individual in my recollection of events, I guess. I don't know what happened to him, but I would like to show him that not all fleshbound are there to give orders and tell him who to slaughter.
I would love it if he were to have a change of heart. But many so entrenched in that hatred take it to the grave. My focus will be on creating a banner and an example for the world, and a home.
I like that. If you can have a people made for fighting and war and bloodshed and killing, if those individuals made without country or creed or anything like that, if they can become peaceful and accept each other, everyone else can sure as fuck do the same thing too.
Indeed. This time, though, the Warforged that fight will be given a choice. They will be fighting for themselves and the world as a whole. Fighting their own battle. Thank you. And he is going to immediately just give you a big hug, pick you up off the ground.
Oh, great. Got it. Yep. Lots of hugs today. I'm all right with that. It's a good day for hugs.
And with that, we're going to go on break.
Hey.
Thank you guys for joining us. I hope you're enjoying it. I know I am. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you drop that follow button, hit that follow button if you haven't yet. But we're not going anywhere. We're going to come right back with all of this goodness. Don't go anywhere. Much love. And hello, everybody. Eventually, I'll click on the right scene. Today is not that day.
Doubt it.
Let's go.
So, our heroes we picked up today in Alexander's Tower, or now Artyom's Tower, where his old friend Alexander, and who taught him the common language as well as some basics of magic, has recently passed away, leaving him the tower, a dog which has now been named Slick, as well as a couple of other unique items, and then some trails of information that they found that have related to some of their other ventures. So we pick back up now in the city of Last Stop. So again, city, very strong word, the smorgasbord of a town of buildings known as Last Stop, right outside of the Moorlands. Artyom and Otto have now had a conversation about Otto's future plans and what he plans to do, and sort of the morality that's driving him to do some of these things. So, Shining Vanguard, you're here. I have a question for you quickly. Have you made... Stop. I'm gonna start disciplining people here.
I'm gonna take your tower away.
I'll take it. I'll take Slick away. Don't fucking push my buttons.
Ooh, don't you dare! You would not dare.
You watch your comments in Twitch chat, or I'll take the dog. No. However, we're gonna pick back up in Last Stop, but I have a question. Because a lot of things are happening and you get very busy, but I know that your characters are on top of it. Was Erish made aware, because it was said last time that you guys were going to have him meet you somewhere in the airship, along with the rest of Brune's people have now been brought on the Stormbringer. I want to know, has it been communicated to Erish that he needs to be heading in this direction?
I know that I was instructed to contact Erish and that I did. I recall that, but I do not recall whatsoever what I said to him.
I thought we did, because I thought the point is we knew that we were heading to the Fist of Onatar, and so that he should make his way in that general direction.
Right, to the southeastern part of Corvair.
Yeah, because we were making our way on foot. And through the Mournlands, whereas he has the airship. So while we were going to be getting there pretty quick, he has an airship that can just kind of doesn't have to make any weird detours. So
I mean, I'm always happy to give him another call if we need to.
Yeah, I just want to know, so I keep track of that, where you guys are telling him to go, him and Nilbo, and the rest of the Underfolk,
because they were all the way at Stormholm.
Yep. So they were pretty far north.
Pretty fucking far, yeah.
But it has been a couple of days since y'all have been there, so they've made some progress. Also, depending on how the weather was from Stormholm to here, your ship has some capabilities that can allow it to go much faster. So I just need to know where they are heading to, if you guys have told them to come either here to Last Stop or to meet you elsewhere.
I figure we would have. My assumption is we would have told them to meet us at the Fist of Onatar, but I could be entirely wrong. Or as close to it as they could get.
Well, you know they were going to be making their way to the southeast region of the country in general, but they can absolutely be heading towards the Fist of Onatar, towards Last Stop, or somewhere else.
Kent, do you recall? Because I usually, when it comes to talking to Erish, I usually just literally sit there and let you say stuff, and then I say, and I tell Erish that. So
I think if we had them coming to the Fist of Onatar and we consult the map, didn't we have them heading towards like an actual port? So would it have gone to like the Gap or something around there for them to actually go to a place where they could do something? I don't remember.
How about we say this? We say that you told them to head in this general direction for now, since it was going to take them much longer anyways, or at least somewhat longer to get down here. And you can follow up with a message once you're outside of the Mournland, so they can already be making their way towards this. So
Perfect.
you sent a message earlier right outside of the Mournlands. What did that message entail? Where did that tell them to go?
So we sent them a message when we get outside of the Mournlands, and at this point, we could probably just recommunicate with them right now, and we could meet up someplace. So where do we want to meet up? We on the edge of the Mournlands. Where do we want Erish to meet us? We have these great new people. Honestly, you could probably sit down anywhere, and with our new amazing friend Slick, we might be able to show up where they need us. If we vaguely have any direction, or yeah.
does anyone know where the closest port is?
Would
Well,
Slick not just get us to the Fist? Or very, very close to the Fist?
I've never been to the Feast of Onatar before. Hey, Slick, have you ever... I don't think Slick said he remembered the names of places he's been to.
No, sir, never been to something called a Fist or no volcano.
No volcano. Oh, very well.
Hey, we never
Okay.
said that they had a volcano.
What Crowley?
Insight check
What
the
are you-
dog.
What are you
Yes,
hiding,
what is-
Slick?
Who are you really? Who are you working for?
Slick is just a daughter of Sorica, like, motherfucker!
What color are his eyes?
What color are Slick's eyes?
I hate y'all for even bringing that up.
They're
as a
brown,
combo.
right? Or no, his dad's eyes were brown.
they are a light brown / hazel like his father's.
Okay, well, fine. I trust
You're off
them
the hook
explicitly
For
then.
now.
I'm sensing a lot of hostility. I'm not really a fan of that.
Hey, that's out of character, hostilely.
This is directed at the DM, not the dog.
DM, real quick,
Yeah.
are any of those items that I received from Alexander, I want to say soulbound attunement? There we go.
Attunement. The only thing that is
there you go.
attunement is the wand itself,
Okay.
which
Candy shooter.
it should be on the item.
Good old candy cannon. Oops,
Oh,
I
man.
tried to hit my mic and I turned off my camera. Hope that didn't mess everything up.
Uh-oh. Oh, no!
We're still good at the moment, I
I
think.
don't know, it looks fine.
Okay, good.
Or does it?
So, where are they meeting you guys?
You know
I guess
what?
we need to find out. If we know where they are right now, they could just stop where they are and see if we could just get to them, right?
Or vice versa, whichever would be quicker.
Well, doesn't it have to be an area that the dog's familiar with?
I thought
To
it said that
travel
he could get somewhere.
With a successful
Else as
survival
well.
check. Correct.
Oh, right, okay. Well, what happens if it's not successful? What happens to us?
We
We
die.
get stuck in the Feywild?
We end up on a Feywild adventure. Whee! Those are always fun. Nothing bad ever happens.
I don't
like that
believe
place.
that. I'm not sure, but for some reason I don't believe that.
You don't? Why not?
Just a hunch.
That's just
I-
my thought. Is if he's much more likely to be more familiar with other areas of Karnath if they're flying. If that's where they'd be flying over. So,
You can, just pop Erish a message and say, hey, where are you guys at? We can get to you pretty quick if you're near some sort of civilization at the moment. We are currently at last stop. I don't know how many words that is.
a lot.
Also, I love you.
I'm gonna shoot him a message and I'm gonna
Cringe.
say,
Oh, okay. It's strange for me to be affectionate. Just not send any messages to your drow wife, lady.
What?
Where are y'all here located currently? We just made it to last stop. Also, RTM loves you.
Okay. High or low?
Ooh, always high, but what do you mean?
Right. You have you ever been in the Discord early on the day when Ian's coming home from work, so he's on his phone?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I
Did you
have.
hear?
I just like to go ahead and put out here, rude. First of all, like,
It's been a while, but I do recall it was very difficult to hear him, and there was a lot of noise going on in the background.
Did you hear wind rushing?
Mhm.
When Erish replies, and he says, "Well," and he's like yelling to get over the wind noise. We're in the middle of a storm currently, but Nilbo says we're somewhere in southern Karnath. He seems to know where last stop is. We can make our way there. Can you hear me? I love him as well."
Yeah.
Artyom Erish loves you too.
Damn right.
They're in the middle of a storm, but Nilbo said that they're not too terribly far from last stop. They're in southern Karnath somewhere. They can make it here. They can come this direction. To us.
Did they say how long they would be out?
He did ask for a reply to make sure I could hear him, so I'm going to speak to him again regardless. I can ask how far out they are.
Yeah, if they can give a current location, I might be able to meet up with him or something like that. Or we could all turn into big quetzals and fly.
They are in the middle of a storm, and it sounded very loud and very chaotic out there, so I'm not sure if they'll be able to tell me exact location, but I can ask.
Okay.
I will ask. First of all, I'll say, yes, I'm able to hear you.
What?
You know what? I'll yell just to make sure. Yes, I'm able to hear you. Where do you know the exact location, or close enough at least, where you are in southern Karnath? Artyom might be able to meet you.
Is that it?
Hi. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, if I've got the words to say be safe, I'm going to say be safe too.
Gotcha.
Be safe!
We always behave. No worries. He cannot give me an exact location now, but he assures me that the travel distance right now is somewhere near southern Karnath. We seem to be somewhere near Volyar, maybe? So potentially, depending on how long these storms last, we could be there to you by tomorrow.
Voliere, is that what you said?
Yep.
what the fuck is that?
You look at southern Karnath, it's just north
Oh,
of
there it is.
Fort
I see it.
Bones and Fort Zombie.
As I thought, Nubbo's not able to give an exact location because of the storms, but they said perhaps somewhere near Voliere in southern Karnath, and that they would be able to make it to us probably tomorrow, depending on the severity of the storms and how, if they continue as they are.
DM, do I know anything about Voliere?
Give me a quick history check.
Voliere.
16.
16. Okay. With a 16, let's see here. With a 16, not much on Voliere. It has a lightning rail route. You can see it on your map that you guys have. But it's not an incredibly it's a somewhat defensive, like fortress type location. Typically lots of Karnathi soldiers here. Also like a buy through for like zombies and undead from Fort Bones or Fort Zombie to march north if needed. Sort of a stopping location for those necromancers if needed during like wartime stuff. Kind of large-ish military installation.
Gotcha. It's well, they're nearby some kind of fort, but I don't know. Maybe we should wait here. Maybe it's a nice, relaxing, full of not wild, crazy, twisted magic sleep before heading to the Feast of Onatar.
That'd be fine with me.
All right.
It's already like getting into the afternoon, right?
Oh, it's already an evening at this point.
Oh, okay, it's already.
Yeah, because you guys got here around like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So you guys have gone to Alexander's Tower, and although that wasn't a very long venture, it's dusk.
Right.
A night of rest and proper beds would not be amiss.
Rest, beds, and attunement.
What does that mean?
What does what mean? Doesn't sound like anything to me.
I forgot to do something.
Riley, stop being suspicious. What'd you forget to do, Artyom?
Kent forgot to talk about leaving that sending stone, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, in the Colossus.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, man, darn, I guess you have
Which
it then.
means I still have it. So now that there's not going to be any barring of communication, I'd like to message Gandalin.
Sure.
Gandalin, we are out of the Mornlands, and then last stop, I got the house and lost heir to Kenneth house. How are things going? That's it.
Gandalin, if you would like to respond, it is the night before the Accords.
Night before the Accords. Okay. All right. So night before the Accords. Gandalin didn't know they were in the Mornlands.
I miss Gandalin.
This has not been communicated to him, if I recall correctly.
Koshik's just standing over Artyom's shoulder. Tell him I said hi. Tell him I said hi. Tell him I said hi.
What the fuck? Why were you? What the fuck? Why were you in the Mornlands?
I can only use it once per day.
What is going on? I fucking hate politics. God damn it. But things are working out.
Oh, Gandalfin's fine. We don't have to worry about him at all. I'm sure if there is a problem,
I forgot to change my background while I was talking.
he just points to Crowley. I'm sure Eisenhoff would let us know if there are any issues. I'm sure Gandalf will.
Absolutely.
How are you feeling, Crowley, after our journey through the Mornlands?
Pretty good, actually. It's good to see the old stomping grounds. There's a fight breaking out behind us.
While the city is getting dark, you do see that these shops still stay open. These adventurers leave at all times during the day, and some folks are getting rowdy. But these shops and stores are open all over Last Stop as you speak out here on the streets.
I could have sworn I heard someone yelling breaching or something like that, DM. I don't know what's going on, but
I got nothing for that one.
All right, just wanted to make sure you're okay.
Doing well. We now have a lot of. Actually, I feel great now that we have a lot of priceless Chiron artifacts to return to their peoples.
Yeah, that would be good for them. We could return them to the people that should have them.
Indeed. I will take care of that. Not a problem. I'll make sure they belong in a museum.
Well, I mean, where would that you? Anyway, it's good. So, do we want to get the room, or should we use the key? Crowley, do you still have the
Yes.
key?
Of course, I have the key. Yes.
All right. Everyone want to go into the mansion, I guess?
Brett hasn't been in the mansion, has he? I can't remember.
I don't think he has.
I thought that.
What is this key you speak of?
It is a key that takes us to a wonderful place.
Yes. Just
It's-
a mansion to rest in.
It's got a nice camp in there that you can hang out at, and all kinds of.
He is
different-
being horribly misled. Oh my god. This is so
Kylie.
nice.
Um,
Very relaxing.
Kylie, you should let Brune turn the key.
If Brune looks even the vaguest bit confused for even the vaguest moment, Otto
Eyebrow
will launch
raised.
into a
Yeah.
technobabble description of like how it creates extra space.
Otto, I am doing my best to understand and follow what you are saying, but I am incredibly lost, my friend.
I
Let Brune turn the
apologize.
key.
I will enunciate more clearly, and he will turn his volume up like 3 or 4 levels and then start again.
We go in the caves. Let Brune turn the key. We go in
Very
the caves.
informational.
Yes, you might
Brune
find
just like
it.
smiles and nods, like like a grandfather, listening to his grandson talk about something he has no idea. It's like,
Yes, you should floss. It's good
Since
for your teeth.
Since Koshik is so insistent, why don't you try to turn the key? Just think of what you think would be the most homey thing. Like, think of home and turn the key.
Think of a good home.
Think of the most grandiose, restful thing you can.
Well, sure. Okay.
Minus grandiose, just restful.
where are we when we're doing this? By the way, we just like sat in the common room of this fucking establishment, just like.
We could go outside to like the side of the building or something like that. It'll be fine.
You've just given me a key. Where am I inserting
Just
the key?
poke it right there in that wall in that crack right there.
Yeah, just do it.
You will get the most beneficial effect if you apply the key at exactly, and he gives like an angle.
Just
Thank
believe.
you, Otto.
Just believe.
Just like weirder shit's happened recently, I guess.
Yeah, you open the side of the building that there was very clearly not a door. You stick the key in, which goes effortlessly into the wood. A door opens for you. Brune, what do we see?
The common area.
Good question. I usually prefer to be able to think on these kinds of things so that they feels good. But I think that it's stone. Obviously, is a long stone hall. I know everybody's like Underdark. That means everything is like kind of like black stone and kind of grimy. But I think it is. I think it is polished, well cut, like maybe like a darker granite of this entire hall. There's torches very frequently spaced. I mean, like they can see in the dark, but I mean, why you don't have to? And if this is your living space, then might as well make it as easy as possible. With another thing of a common area is like the common area is also like a giant dining room, almost. So there's a long, once again underground, no wood. So it's a long stone table, of like a heavy, maybe like volcanic black stone. that kind of runs a length with similarly stone benches on either end of it with rugs that are underneath the length of the table, as well as under like some other pieces of furniture, like a standing brazier and some other small things with several doors that line the sides, and a big big hearth, like brick hearth at the other end from where we are entering.
You guys see this place of comfort for Brune. You know this, and the
Y'all have to duck. Door fight.
Teller of you among you having to duck while you get in here. Slick happily following Artyom along inside of this place, and you, albeit the common area looks a little bit differently, all of your rooms very much the same. So your places of comfort here are all here. So
Is the well? Is that fucking door that leads to the well here?
immediately across from you, as you open the door, a shattered obsidian doorway with various types of runes across it leads down a set of very dark stairs.
Creepy.
This is the first time Otto's ever been in here conscious.
All
true.
right, well,
Is there anything anybody wants to do before we go to the next day?
so Otto, you have thrusters that you can use to move around, right? You have the jet boots or fire jet things.
I have a complex network of propulsion systems, yes.
All right. And your dragonfly also has a similar sort of jet system for flying.
Negative. I found it artistically satisfying to recreate a more biological type of transportation.
Oh, I thought it had little. Okay, well, it's fine. Slick is an amazing dog. How do we make him fly?
I shall get right to work on that. And
We should
I
also
guess
wake him some up.
Otto is going to crouch walk, seeing as he is 10 feet tall. Like L-shaped as he's moving through this dwarf-sized. I mean, like, I imagine that or 7 feet tall. I'm imagining like if the 5'10" people are bending over, then the 7 foot tall guy is like.
I mean, y'all heads maybe, because I mean, like, in your house, your head isn't touching the ceiling, so it's not like only 5 feet high. But I mean, y'all's heads are probably much, like, very close to the ceiling.
No, Otto's like walking like this as he goes down to the and he objectively knows how this works, but he's never done it before, so he'll hesitate before he goes to open the door and go into his room/lab, which is not the same one that Milo had. Are you joining him?
This one.
Oh yeah, I mean, me and Slick are gonna go in there if you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Work.
This is not the kind of utilitarian, clinical-looking laboratory with a bed in the corner that Milo had. This has a wall where the entire wall is a facsimile of a balcony overlooking like an ocean vista, and you can't like actually go past the balcony, but it appears to be one. There is no bed at all, actually, as he does not sleep, although there are a couple of very comfortable looking well-carved chairs. There is a laboratory area, but it's much more personalized. There are decorations. There is, you know, like the things that hold tools actually have like ornamentation on them. It is simple. It is not overly ornate, but it has a much more personal and lived-in feel. And there is a giant like wooden, I don't know, carving, I guess, like in the form of a painting, but there's no paint on it. It is just worked wood, and it is like an embossed painting, basically, or an embossed image. of a sword broken in half on one wall. And Otto seems exactly as surprised as you guys are to discover what is in here. Fascinating. Well, let us get to work. And I guess he will begin the process of figuring out what he would have to do to make a dog fly.
Yeah, I think
Little booties.
yeah, essentially little boots of flying, or what Otto is attempting to craft here. So with the resources, I believe we have some rules in place for that already, correct?
Yeah.
With
You make
a
them nice and fast, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah, mechanically speaking, there are.
Yeah, so you'll expend, I believe it's half the resources needed, correct? For that. And I believe it's reduced even further
so.
for fortificers, artificers.
Yes, it is. I scroll down through all the freaking stuff artificers get.
Mhm.
What are you doing? Making stuff. Thanks.
What rarity is or are boots of flying?
Uncommon.
It will cost me a quarter of the normal time and half as much as the usual gold, so a quarter of the gold and half the usual time.
Right, and gold
a
is
quarter of the usual time.
gold is a subjective thing. For boots of flying with that much utility, they're worth quite a lot, actually, even with them being an uncommon item. So we'll say of a typical price, boots of flying being, give me a second because I actually have something that makes sense here, I think.
2 gold, 1 per boot.
Yeah,
Now, whatever it would
Well, he's
be,
got
it
4
is
feeties, so.
half
It
of
does
that.
have 4 feet.
You're right,
Just
that's my
fly
bad.
just one
4
in.
gold, 1 per boot.
But that quarter of the creation time, I think, is the juicy part.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
that is fantastic.
How long does it typically take to create an uncommon item?
I think there's either 2 or 3 different systems for creation. I know we discussed it in the city with the big undead battle, but I cannot remember which we settled on. But if
I think uncommon's a week, right? So a quarter of that time, if I'm not mistaken. A quarter is, or I'm sorry, an uncommon item is a week, if I'm not mistaken. So a quarter of that time would just
2
be,
days? 2.5?
yeah, couple of
20
days.
hours according to
So
apparently
tonight's-
Xanathar's.
20 hours?
That's hold on. I'm fact checking this because apparently somebody said that is from Reddit says that's from Xanathar's Guide to Everything, but let me check. Actually,
I mean, it's-
Xanathar's.
I don't know if it'll become relevant this session anyway. We could just
No
go back
clue.
and look between.
Yeah, I'd say for tonight,
Yeah.
since it's already getting on the verge of you having to do your nightly repairs and stuff, you can absolutely get Slick's measurements and stuff and probably have something for him in the next day or so. You take his measurements and what have you. It is going to cost you 1,000 of your resources. I'm going to quarter this really quickly. Of those resources, 1,250 gold to make Slick fly.
I'm sorry. 2 work weeks
2 work weeks. Okay, so
is what it says in the book. Yep.
with this it being so it'll take you a couple of days to do this, but like you said, not immediately relevant. You can absolutely take Slick's measurements right now, and also with this build him something that will grow with him. So like those shoes that like sort of have different size settings on them.
Oh, don't worry. I've got an idea.
He's
Great.
a good boy,
His-
so he gives you his paw,
his-
and he gives you his other paw.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's like set them on here so he can make a mold of them. He absolutely does it. His paws are actually fully grown. He's very much of the pup. He's like, you can tell he's going to be a huge dog because his mitts are fucking massive. But they are sort of fit on his tiny body. But he absolutely helps out. Go ahead and give me a quick Arcana check. I'll say at advantage, please.
Heck yeah. Didn't really matter. That'll be a 29. It was a 13 and a 14.
Very nice. I will say you can shave off 500 of the gold price with a 29, as well as 24 hours off the total crafting time, which will bring it down to what is it?
Days.
There you go.
Or two and a half work days, whatever You
I
are
believe it means like so. It would take 80 hours. So a quarter of 80 hours.
Right. So in the next couple of days, Slick will have his means of flight.
What was the you said 500 off of the total?
Yeah. So
And what was the total?
750 total for you.
750.
It was 1250. Bring it down to
that was
750.
That's a number I did not have.
I also, since this is already being discussed, like while Otto's going about taking his measurements, like as he steps away to like write some stuff down, Bruno is going to address Slick as well.
My small friend.
Yes, mister?
Your charge
And he kind of looks over at Artyom.
is unfortunately very frequently in harm's way. If you intend to accompany him in all of these ventures, then you will as well. Are you comfortable wearing things besides your collar? Perhaps things meant to keep you safe.
Why not?
It's kind of like wraps my breastplate.
Something like this.
Well, I don't think that'll
Indeed.
fit me. I mean this respectfully, you're a muscle-bound individual, and that'd be quite big on me. And I also think that I got some different size shape than you do.
Right. I believe I could craft you something more to your size and shape.
Otto pipes up, directed at Brune. He says, I was having much the same thought. As the newest member of the Shining Vanguard, he should be equipped for conflict.
Or at least to be safe from it.
Mr. Brune, would you like to assist me in this project?
Surely.
Artyom.
I know nothing about magic, but making arms and armor is within my wheelhouse.
Excellent. Artyom would have noticed Otto wasn't just measuring his feet.
Right, right.
And because I turned the key, this place has a smithy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's more of, since you turn the key and you're here thinking about this, like as you're talking to Slick, out of the corner of your eye, Brune, you see growing from the stone wall a smithy just bricks start placing on top of each other, and then all of a sudden it just like a fire lights within.
That is unsettling.
Yeah, and I know crafting armor also takes a while, but I just want to go and say like I know he's a puppy, so the plans for it that I would have drafted up would be, instead of just a more like regular suit of armor, like even though I know it's barding, so it's different anyway, I'd also be very specifically designing it to be made out of a bunch of different plates that all have adjustable straps and things, and so that as he grows, we can let them out and everything.
Absolutely.
So
Give me
to fit him.
a check if I can think of the tool set for it in 5e. I want you to roll
Smith's tools and leatherworkers.
Give me a Smith's tools check. That's what this is, the main check of this, and you're going to be making that at advantage.
At advantage. Ooh, and because of my rune, I get to make them with expertise. So
sick.
These have we slept? We're still not 17. So plus 15.
This will be the first night y'all have slept since you're leaving the Moorlands.
Oh, super fancy. But damn it, in the tray. Okay. At advantage, dirty 30.
Dirty 30.
Dirty.
Yeah. You start getting the measurements of everything. Otto's helping you out. This sort of like, and Slick is just sitting there loving the attention that he's getting right now. And so as you guys are sitting like wrapping him around in different leathers and stuff to get sizes of everything, he's just happy as can be. You know it's going to take you a couple of days and a little bit of resources. You think also that if the Fist of Onatar is maybe as I'm trying to think of the right words here, but as magical as its denizens believe it to be, that maybe you might be able to put something to just give it that much more if finally sort of smelted at the Fist of Onatar.
Hell yeah.
I can't remember if we've discussed this or not. Where was Brune's weapons crafted at the fist, or were they crafted
Nope.
somewhere else? Okay.
I crafted them like in magma rivers or some shit, like deep in the underground.
That's what I thought. Okay.
All right. So the projects are abound. You guys are doing that. Anything else anybody's doing for tonight before you go to the next day?
Not anything in depth, but just probably a conversation as they wind down with Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam is there to have conversations with you. He's got a lot of questions about what this vision of yours looks like. And it's Samuel most of the time sort of leading the discussions, and Norin is either in the docent, or if his opinion is asked about something about the structure of House Cannith or whatever the case is, will pop out and will contribute that knowledge as well.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. He'll sort of as you're working on the shoes and having this conversation with Samuel, Norin will also pop out and help you with some information. It's like I've actually helped craft once. There was a very rich woman and she wanted her dog to look very, very fancy, so I've crafted dog shoes, as silly as that seems before. But there's actually no need for separation in the dog's toes with a simple, and he's going to give you advantage on your check for the next check to make on the flying apparatus.
Oh yeah. The only other thing in that conversation with Samuel and Norin would be throughout the conversation, not being overly pushy, but clearly Norin feels still kind of like an outsider, and Otto is going to kind of urge him to take part, because in Otto's mind, Norin is a part of this, and also, like the Warforged, existing in this semi-state, he is also going to be an outsider without people that can relate to him. So
Norin says to you, bring this up to him. Norin says, I don't necessarily feel like, I mean, I'm sure I will eventually, but this is a conversation meant for two automatons. This is something that I have no experience of, therefore very little insight for. If you want me to be a part of these conversations and you invite me in, I am more than happy to be a part of them, but I have zero experience in the realm that you do, and you've lived your lives where I haven't. So if you want me to be a part of the conversations, wonderful. I'm glad to be of any help that I can be.
Yeah, he will just, at any juncture, he's not going to pressure him about it. It's more like a very kind of like a comforting, and like asking his opinion very intentionally and trying to make him feel included and welcome in that. So that's all I'm going to say about it.
Anybody else?
I would like to message Norn.
Okay.
Does it work if I try to have a mental link with a Dawson?
It is a sentient creature at this point, and you're very well aware of it. So yeah, I'd say you can message Norn. You'll know because of the mind link situation between a Warforged. If you're messaging Norn, you're messaging Samuel, and vice versa.
Okay. I'll just ask Norn, since it's kind of more of it's not secretive. I was just trying to keep that conversation going and not interrupting it.
Sure.
But just ask him, so are you planning to try and make a difference with your name? Is that the idea?
As much as I can. Again, this is Samuel's life at this point. If he is willing and able, and we want to attempt to do something like this, I am more than willing to attempt to assist. The drawbacks of this is, one, Samuel needs to know, and I mean, just by the nature of this very spell, he is knowing that by doing this, he's putting himself in the direct line of harm. My family, a lot of them are not good people. You've seen this firsthand. The others of them are, while Merrick's is very curious to the point of destruction. The others are simply just destructive. So some of the others are. So this could mean that if they consider me attempting to vie for some sort of seat of House Cannith, they could come after me and by proxy Samuel.
We'll do everything we can to make sure the two of you stay safe.
I would absolutely appreciate that. Samuel deserves that.
We could probably, I mean, if you wanted to, we could leave you in the capital of Carnath. I'm sure there will be safe from any type of danger.
No. Zorlin de Cannith is there, and he is one of the ones that would absolutely see me destroyed if he could.
Okay. Is this something that we should try to take care of for you?
What he is ignorant about isn't necessarily a threat. I am not going to sanction any sort of assassination of Zorlin.
No, I'm not talking about the assassination. Just firm talking to with threats of harm if they try to disrupt the saving of the world.
I feel your threat would go on deaf ears. Zorlin, if he would give you the answer that you wanted to and then act accordingly to his nature. I think the best course of action is just to leave Zorlin out of it. And him not knowing that I exist is better for everybody.
Okay. So you intend, or I guess the both of you intend to stay a little bit more low-key then?
Until we get a more firm idea of a plan, I think that's probably best. It's going to be the safest thing. We're here to help. My knowledge and experience is here to help as much as I can. But for the safety of not only Samuel, but for the safety of yourselves as well. I'm sure you can take care of yourselves, but I'm also sure that you don't need assassins popping up at the wrong times. So
we've dealt with Tarkanian assassins every now and then. That wasn't too big of a deal.
Okay, that's terrifying.
Well, for them, unless you're the Shining Vanguard, then it's not a good day for you. We fought
What a great day for the Shining Vanguard.
He doesn't know that. Victory is not victory. History is written by the victors.
I mean, Otto can't hear this conversation, so
He's just somewhere in the ether, Milo screeching.
I'm sure none of you died while doing that, so that's impressive on its own.
Absolutely, no one died. I hardly hit us, honestly.
hardly any of us died at all.
Shit, that completely threw my train of thought off. Ah! Okay, well, if that's how you decide to do it, if you do eventually change your mind, as far as I know, King Gandalf's getting a bunch of forces together, and if things go to plan, he should be able to keep you safe. If you decide to do a more overt show of politics. Should be a 4-letter word.
This King Gandalf guy is an adept politician. Fucking stellar.
He says, yeah, I'll, if anything changes, I'm sure Samuel will let you know, and as well as your friend. It seems that they are working on the plans of something massive, so,
Right.
which is incredible, to witness firsthand. If I can be of service while I'm here in this close proximity, I'm more than willing.
All right. Well, good. Thank you both.
Thank you. I didn't say that, but if you would pass it along to the rest of your friends as well. You
Our chum will literally just get up and they just kind of yell out into the mansion, "Hey, Sam, in order would like to thank you for saving them."
That was a kind thing you did, coming into someone strange and attempting to help them out. So thank you sincerely.
I know the Shining Vanguard aren't really super popular or very well known across all of Corvair, but it's just kind of what we do.
Well, I'm not very up on current events, so I have no idea who you are.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying, is you probably wouldn't have heard about us anyway, but...
I find that hard to believe.
Where's the little squish?
Oh, it's with
Oh, I do-
Samuel.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Is there anything else anybody wants to do for the night?
Nothing very involved. Just that once everybody does go to bed for the night, he does go to his room. Just intense, fucking homesick. Being in here and like really hits how like having been away from all his folks for so long, and that they're out of the Underdark and probably realistically won't be able to go back to this kind of place like ever. So just before he goes to bed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, nothing super involved for me. I just wanted to point out that Kaushik's room, that when she opens the door, is no longer her airship room. It is to the best of her memory, the beach room that Dario showed her when they were together in the mansion.
Yeah, sort of those black volcanic sands. It's perpetually sunset in this room, exactly how you remember it. There is a ship that's out to sea, a small rowboat that's been ashore, and there's always just a permanent spot right there in the middle of the beach to gaze at the sunset.
She just kind of settles herself down. Go to sleep.
Artyom and Slick were going to, after there is so much measurements and everything being made, Artyom and Slick would slip out of there, and Artyom was going to go to Kaushik's room if nobody else is doing anything.
Come on in, the water's fine.
Well, it's kind of amusing that you have water in there. Yeah, knocks on the door.
Mm-hmm.
This is different. There's a whole ocean. Well, I guess it's not the whole ocean, but do we know if we can make like a hot tub or a bath or something in here, or in the mansion?
I was like
as a whole?
in here, like in my room.
No, not
If
like
you
in your
want,
room.
I guess. As far as I was concerned, as long as it's what you want to have, it'll be there, right? So if you want it to be in your room, it will.
Okay, so I'm pretty good tracking down certain scents, and I'm pretty good with flowers, but not so much with soaps. So I'm going to need some help here of what are good soaps to get.
DM, I have an herbalism kit. Can I make a nice soap?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I could try to make you one.
Mr. RTM? Slick sounds kind of quiet beside you.
Yeah, what's up?
Something tells me that Miss Kaushik could use a hug. Permission to go hug her.
Oh, yeah, you always have permissions to get hugs from anyone. Most people who don't want hugs from dogs probably need hugs from dogs the most. So, yeah, just
you see Slick runs across the beach sands over to you, Kaushik, says, Miss Kaushik, if you be willing, I'd be willing to give you a hug, ma'am.
I'm gonna lean down and I'm gonna give him scratches while I give him a hug.
Throws his paws around you and he says, well, isn't this nice?
It is nice. And I'm gonna like kind of motion around. It's nice in here too, isn't it?
I haven't been to a beach quite like this before, but I do like swimming.
You can get into the water here, right? It might not be like a lot of water, but like
Right.
feel free if you'd like.
Just into mud, sand, and water, and Slick is rolling, jumping, flipping, swimming.
The hug is very nice and needed, but Kaushik isn't sad here. Kaushik only has good memories here. She's in mourning, but she is not sad. She is happy to be here, but she does miss Dario. I'm glad that the puppy's having fun.
Oh, he goes off, splashing into the sea. If you can, please give me an herbalism kit check.
Oh yeah. So I got that soap, and then I will pull out my herbalism kit and start.
Our team, you can give her advantage if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'll give her advantage for sure. I feel like if it came to soap, could we? I mean, we could ask like the creatures in the mansion to be like, "Hey, soap."
Oh,
they give out food and stuff
I guess
too.
that's
Oh
true.
yeah. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I didn't know if you wanted something specific, but you could ask the creatures in here that would give you any sort of like lavish soap that you asked for.
Yeah, I only rolled a 4, so you're probably gonna get better soap from them anyway.
You made stanky soap.
Artyom's asking for advice, not
Oh.
for.
Right, okay.
Artyom don't take the most baths, and he's
So-
gonna see Erish the next day, so he's like, I need some help. Also, dog needs a dog bath too.
So after Kaushik tries and fails to make a
You just
shitty
don't have the
little soap,
materials. It's been a
she's
while
just
since you
gonna-
replenished your herbalism kit.
Yeah, she's just kind of looking down at her like mortar and pestle, mortar and pestle, and she's like, "Mint is really nice. For dogs, I think. I can't remember if mint is toxic to dogs. I think it's only toxic to cats. So I'm pretty sure mint is good for dogs. Eucalyptus is also really nice if you're trying to smell natural. Erish also likes, to my knowledge, like bakery scents. So like pastries, anything like that. Like a sugar scented anything, if you can find a soap of that type. Yeah. But I would probably go with like eucalyptus or peppermint.
A
not
sugar
clean.
soap sounds very sticky.
Scented, like a bakery item, like a cinnamon roll or
Well, you can get
pancake, perhaps. But you seem like the kind of person that wants to smell like nature, so eucalyptus would probably be best for you.
No, you've changed my cinnamon. That's the one I'm going to go for cinnamon.
All right, cinnamon it is then, I guess.
I guess we'll get a
Smells
whole
like
bunch.
Big Red.
Yeah, it's like a cinnamon vine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
You're gonna smell like a cinnamon roll.
Hell yeah.
you see the servants come out when you ask for this, and they take a cinnamon roll as well as a like eucalyptus bar of soap and just magically smash them together and hand it over to you, just a block of cinnamon roll soap.
I'm going to go use this. Slick, you are free to join or enjoy the sands with Kaushik. I will be right over in this door. You'll choose what you want to do. And also, you need to choose what kind of scent you want to have with soap if you are wanting to get a doggy bath.
I like bacon.
All right, bacon scent for... That sounds great. I love bacon too. Let's get some bacon while he's bathing in bacon.
You say this, and the mansion servants once again take just like 6 slices of bacon and a bar of soap and just smash it together and hand it off to you.
All right. and actual bacon. He's gonna be bathing in bacon while eating bacon. Artyom, he'll eat raw bacon with him too. He's still an animal man in a lot of ways. Raw bacon, both of them.
Slick looks at you, Kaushik, and just says, "Thank you very much for letting me swim on your beach. I enjoyed it. Good night. I'm gonna go take a bath in bacon."
Well, I enjoyed your company and your hug. Thank you so much.
No need to thank me for a hug. It's my pleasure.
I shall wave him and our team goodbye.
Yeah, Artyom,
Toodles.
Goes and takes a bath.
yeah, Artyom and Slick go over this little campfire area of the mansion with 2 big old tubs of steaming water from the servants. We got a bacon bath and a cinnamon bath.
Oh, it's
Hell yeah.
breakfast, bro. It's gonna smell so
Oh,
good. in
hell
that.
yeah.
So that is what happens for that night. We go to the next day. The next day comes around, the mansion expiring, Brune, a bit of homesick soul resting on your stomach as you get ready for the next day. The rest of you exiting the mansion. The next day, any attunements that are wanted, you're all level 17 now as well, officially.
Yes!
I teased you a little bit and unintentionally with that, but also combat broke out sort of unexpectedly, but nonetheless,
It's
you are
not
now
here for
all
me to
level
scold.
17 officially. So you can go ahead and level yourselves up there. You see that zooming from the sky, a smoking and wet airship, the Stormbringer, is sailing through the sky. Yeah, you see that the engine, the lightning engine on the Stormbringer at the top of it, is crackling off lightning and is just zooming down at Mach fuck you, hitting like no, speeding into last stop, staying on the very edge. And atop it, you see many folk atop your vessel here, along with Nilbo and Erish.
Many and many. That brings people, right?
Many of
There
of
are,
Bruce's-
yeah, most folks are probably on the shorter side. Gnomes and dwarves and elves.
What does RTM say as he sees Erish for the first time here?
He doesn't say anything. As soon as the airship comes up, he pretty much is yoinking on out of there.
Yeah. So
You're doing what?
a bit of a different introduction to the airship here, as the double door on the bottom deck is not let down for you. It is kept up, and as well as the crew and cargo teleportation circle is not used. Instead, Erish lets out a rope ladder that climbs up to the top deck of the ship. Yeah, sorry, the bottom door and the teleportation circle is just down for right now. I greatly apologize. Please come up.
No, he doesn't finish the sentence. I'm gonna transform into like a small birded creature and then tackle him over the rails by turning into a human or a Kalaxtar.
Yeah, he embraces you like a safe, warm, comfortable blanket at like just holding on to you, and probably just sits there and holds on to you for a good bit. It's so good to see you. And just sort of like after hugging you that tightly, just sort of like holds your face, like each side of your face through your beard, just holds you there looking at you for a moment. You had me quite worried when you said you were in the Moorlands.
Blame Milo. He did it from wherever he's evading capture from the denizens of the plane of law. It's a...
That's a conversation we'll certainly need to have. Where does Broom go when he gets back to the airship?
I imagine my folk. You said my folks are all up.
They're
top.
all on top of the deck right now. There's like 40 people up here, and it's
Nice.
like a social party almost. They seem to be just having a good time. Beers are in everyone's hands. And there is a cask. The Shining Vanguard would realize that that is the barrel of endless beer is up here, and they're just kind of hanging out, having a good time. You get onto the deck, and there is a rather large greeting for Brune, I think, from all your folks here. As you get up on top, a face that you see missing is your partner.
Oh. I'll just kind of, of course, keep my kind of greeting, some slaps on backs and stuff, but then stop and just ask probably like the second or third person that I've greeted, where's Thrillia?
Not exactly sure. I ain't seen her in a few. She's here. She's on the ship. She was with us. But she sort of pointed a finger at us and said, stay the fuck up here. Otherwise, I'll spill your guts where you stand.
Just nods like, that does sound like
but well. To be certainly clear, she said she'd do the same to you if she didn't listen. And Erish comes up at this moment, says, puts his hand on your chest, or says, excuse me before something else happens. Mr. Brune.
Yes.
Thrillia has requested that you stay atop for just a moment.
Looks.
It is, I promise.
Concerned.
As much as we don't know each other, I impart to you that there is nothing to worry about.
She's a capable woman.
Very much so. If there's anything that I can give for you while you're here, please let me know. Your companions have been wonderful.
That is good. Thank you for looking after them in my stead.
Of course. He leaves you there and says, speaking of, Artyom looks at the rest of the Shining Event. The rest of you, can I speak to you momentarily? Below deck.
Sure. I will I will help Slick on the boat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Easily enough. Slick just like hops up onto the back of your big bird form and flies onto the deck of the ship. Says, Mister, ma'am, Mister, going talking to everybody on the boat. And Brune will see as Slick makes his way through the crowd, just a bunch of people that have probably. Give me an insight check, Brune.
Sure, I can do that.
And this will be the last thing I want you to do before you take off your headset. Just Brune.
Okay. That is a 13.
A 13. With the 13, you're sort of looking around at your folks. And you can't put your finger on it necessarily, but something has shifted. There's been a paradigm shift amongst your followers here.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could please take your headset off.
Okay. I just comment. I don't know if this is what the conversation is happening below deck or not. Just if it is, while waiting for Thrillia, Brune is just systematically making his way around the entirety of the upper deck and just kind of checking on each person one at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. The rest of you, all of you, Erish asks for you down below deck. If there's anybody who has something else that is keeping their attention right now, you can fully explore that. Erish is just requesting your help, it seems.
Yeah. Otto would have just directed Sam down to Milo's room and the lab and explains that we'll split those.
Erish stops you and sort of in the middle of that direction. He says, that's currently your lab, Otto, is completely safe and untouched, I promise. But that area of the ship is currently off limits. He is more than welcome to stay in a cabin or at the dining room table.
What a concerning way to explain that.
I am
very well.
So sorry. I'm attempting to get down below deck before any more explanations are made.
Very well. Yeah.
Okay.
Once we get below deck, I'm gonna act really dramatic to scare Ian.
Okay. You get down below deck. The area down here is completely changed. There are what look to be like black canvases and tarps over the walls themselves, as well as candles in each in like corners and stuff that are throwing up somewhat minor illusions onto the tapestries themselves, giving the vague appearance of a cavern. Thorilia is in the which is Brune's drow partner, stands in the middle here. Eris says, Thorilia and I have had a lot of time on our hands, and being as worried as we were, Thorilia wanted to give something to Brune, and perhaps I thought that you could be of service here. I could only create such minor illusions of this place, but if you could, I knew, Artyom, you're brilliant with nature. Crowley, Otto, I know you're both good with illusions, or perhaps even sounds of illusions. Anything, any of you. Koshik, I know you've got your herbalism kit to create this place for Thorilia. And Thorilia turns to you, sort of her hands steepled, and looks at you and says, I am not... I can explain it to you very systematically. I am wishing to make the place where me and Brune met each other. Can you assist with this?
That should be a simple matter.
Yeah, we can assist with this.
We will need guidance.
I can do that. That is something I'm good at. And I would like to say that this sort of place is... like the candles themselves are throwing up, like video game graphics before they're like that were really old, where it was really just kind of a JPEG. That's kind of what's going on right now on these walls. Eric, Thorilia needs help with you making these things 3D and more realistic. What you see though is the basic blueprint for a small cavern with a like natural waterfall in it, some like glowing fungi around it, a just generally peaceful place. So if you could, Shiny Vanguard, just tell me what you add to this place.
Wait, do you need this to stay on the airship, or do you just need it for a one-time thing?
It'll be a one-time thing, but it will need to be in this area, I believe, so we can not halt any other operations.
Okay, so you need it for an extended time then.
It should not be too terribly long. Simply just for tonight, hopefully.
Uncle Artyom, I have some ideas. I may need your help to make it look more natural.
I have an idea to make it look very natural. Okay, so I can turn us all into birds. We can fly out the window, no one will catch us, and then we can actually burrow into the ground to make it extra authentic.
I think that may be a bit much for what we are looking for and the work that we've already done. I was told that you could make this an easy process and not complicated. I am hoping that is true.
Indeed. Oh, sorry.
Hey, I can make it an easy process, absolutely. I just wanted to show my appreciation. Brune has helped us out greatly.
Wonderful. Then you'll attend the ceremony as well.
Okay.
What ceremony?
Oh, shit.
Brune and I never got the option to make ourselves together.
You like see the wheels turning in Otto's head, like, are you referring to matrimony?
No, that is a gross ritual. Something of that sort.
Excellent.
Yes.
Like very loud. This is probably his loudest yet.
Brune hears him scream. Excellent.
If we're okay with going over just a little bit tonight, before I ask Ian to put his headset back on,
Yeah.
if I can please just get you to ask what you add to this space.
I got my spell slots back and I ain't got to roll on a chaos table.
This is
So-
one of those very
Let me go first.
loosely. Yeah, go.
Since I can't really do anything quickly, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna give guidance to literally anybody who's trying to do something. Everybody
Guiding
gets
and
an extra
inspiring.
D4.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you say it's loosey goosey, that's even better.
Mhm.
Order of operations: fabricate spell to basically turn a bunch of random crap, like from storage or whatever, into the same material, but colored and to look like rock wall, and other cave paraphernalia as directed by the not bride to be, because this isn't matrimony.
Absolutely not matrimony. I'm just asking him to be with me forever.
Excellent. But yeah, he will make sure that the things as she guides him are created, and as many spell slots as necessary for the little orbs, and the thing like disattaches itself, the sub automaton disattaches itself, and the invisible servant, basically every possible summon he's got, and just start pasting things onto the walls and assembling shit.
Gotcha.
From the fabricate spell.
Awesome. Artyom, Crowley, Azur, anything that you'd like to add?
Crowley will work with her on creating sounds to mimic the natural environment, even though that means he's probably gonna have to wait until the time is there, but he's gonna practice on making everything sound as authentic as possible with him as far away as possible.
Gotcha.
I will try to get on the more scent side of things by using plant growth to make, like, you know, lichens and other type sort of things that grow inside of caves and kind of give it a little bit more of an earthen smell. Even if need be, go as far as doing some like transmute rock or something along those lines to legitimately kind of coat the walls in a little bit of like an outcropping type kind of deal.
Absolutely. Azur, anything?
Honestly, don't know what I can add, actually. So I'll just try to assist Artyom in any way that I could.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of following the nature of things, telling him like where things would actually, plant growth would be, and sort of rocks like this as you sort of shape this area into a cavern. Something very close and dear to Therilia, as she explains to you.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it only lasts for an hour for prestidigitation, but during like the ceremony itself, I can do like some music of her choice and maybe some little spark fireworks just to add some little fun to the ceremony. That's definitely not matrimony.
Perhaps not fireworks.
Little sparkles, but maybe if they don't like that, we don't have to do
Therilia
that.
says anything loud and sudden may not be the best for Brune.
Okay, that's
I'm
fair,
attempting to
that's
make
fair.
this comforting.
Right. So,
On that note, the last thing, and then I'll shut up, I swear. I forgot that Otto has now 5 of those little mini enchantments he can do, and he would do those to create either sound or visual effects as directed by her. I don't know if there's like the sounds of water dropping or like a little area of like fireflies in an area, something like that. But 5 different places.
Absolutely.
is there any kind of specific like symbol or like some kind of like symbolism for this ceremony, or like that would be familiar and like adored by Brune? Because I can also make like symbols appear on things. So if she wants me to have a little mural on the wall, I can do that. I'm just trying to help in any way I can.
Do you know
I'm not very
Undercommon?
good at this. I don't think I do on this character. Let me check. No, I know Common, Dwarvish, and Elvish.
Very well. That's just fine.
Dwarvish. Okay.
Um,
I mean, if she can show me, I can copy it.
I can do this, yes. She writes it down for you and says, if you could just put this in a stone for me, please.
Okay, that I will do. I will do it like right before the ceremony though, because it only lasts an hour, and I want to make sure it's still there. Or I guess I can consistently cast it while I'm there.
I also ask if there's any kind of like low tone song she'd like played or anything of the sort, like not rambunctious, just like low, subtle, cultural.
The music that you would hear before a massive battle. As you inspire your troops to go travel into the fires of Fernia.
Interesting. That could be done.
Wonderful. You see that she is dressed in her armor, her drow armor, which is composed of a lot of like black spikes and hooks on them. She is in full battle gear here. So if everything, go ahead.
Can you change what Mazereth's like element is your? Can you make him a fire Mazereth?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, so we can take this water that we have over here, and I can freeze it into a big solid chunk. All right, and I can fix this so it comes through a window, and it creates the running water, so we can get the running water that she wanted over here. Okay.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Right. All right. Is there anything else anybody would like to add, or have Ian throw on his headset again?
I'm making sure. Tsunami on the boat. No.
You cast, minor tsunami, so it gives more minor tsunami. New spell coming soon. Erish holds both your heads and says, "Thank you so much. Also, there's something for you to wear in our cabin." Stop it. It's
better.
I'm not. Me and Threlia have had a lot of time to speak, but I don't have full battle armor, and well, perhaps it would be nice if we matched.
Yeah.
You go up, and it looks like a suit that looks like Erish would wear for you.
Perfect. I love it.
Okay. Brune, there is a moment you're here left alone with your folks. You're going by and checking everybody out. Give me a perception check.
Sure.
Roll a wisdom saving throw, please.
Lot
comes
going
later.
on. Perception is purple. 17 on perception. And then a wisdom saving throw?
No, not a wisdom saving throw. That was a joke.
That was a joke.
Oh, okay.
That was a joke.
Hey man, I couldn't tell what was going on. I was like, man, this is going on for a long time. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
give you directions.
I figured Kasha was casting a spell on me. So.
No.
With a 17 on your perception, you're going by your check now, talking to each of them, unable to place sort of this shift that's happened. You're going by and you realize that every single one of them, like they've polished their armor, or like they're still wearing it, but they've taken care of it. The scratches are filled in with some sort of polish. Their leathers are waxed recently, and taking care of themselves. Erish, a few minutes later, comes up and says, Mr. Brune, if you would, Aurelia would like to see you now. I will lead you there.
Pat whoever he's talking to on the shoulder, and he'll follow Erish.
You are followed by literally every single one of your people.
Oh. Well.
They, the nearest one behind you sort of shakes their head and pats you on the shoulder.
We'll follow Erish.
40 people go down into the depths of the Stormbringer. Brune, as you get down here into the bottom of the Stormbringer, It has been completely transformed. It is not the bottom of a ship, but rather a place of solace. The walls themselves resemble stone, albeit unworked. Several glowing mushrooms decorate the sides of the wall. A small waterfall off in the back corner has been placed here. You'll recognize this place. It is the first place where you and Therilia admitted some feelings for each other. A place of where you are on the run, but a place of comfort from all of that chaos below. Therilia is standing on the opposite side of this room, this cavern, dressed in her black drow armor from head to toe, the spikes sort of off the pauldrons and everything. She sits there with a stone in her hand and the Shining Vanguard near, sort of on the walls nearby. She looks at you and says, Rune, come here.
Will approach. Still looking kind of befuddled, but
it is not in Therilia's nature to be incredibly empathic by any means, or like loving in her nature can come across as very thorny sometimes. But she will nonetheless, when you approach her, she'll take your hands. And still, people just sort of filing in, and eventually this place is filled with the people that you have led to safety. We never had the chance to make us I suppose. And I would like to do that. I am not an expert in Duragar culture. I am only an expert in what used to be my own, in which you would not have a choice in the matter, and you would have had to fight 100 other drow men to even be in this location, so you could be enslaved to me for as long as I lived. I would like for that to be different. I would like for you to tell me how this works here and now, as I would like to please be bound with you forever.
he just slowly kind of smiles.
I will still fight 100 other men if you wish.
She looks at all the other Duragar who take like a half step back, like, you win. You see several of them hold their hands up. I'm good. It seems you're the victor. My conditions are satisfied.
I'm glad.
Haven't given much thought to what Duragar wedding ceremonies are like at all. I think that it's actually pretty simple. The Underdark is dangerous and not, and the beauty of it is difficult to locate at times. So I think it is a simple ceremony, is basically a very simple exchange. There's no real pageantry to it, because I mean, you don't want to do anything that would in a large crowded forum that could be that could draw the attention of things bigger than you, unless you happen to be lucky enough to dwell in like a large city, like some of the Drow have, and even some of the Duragar, like kind of like fortress cities that reside down there. But in these smaller like hamlets almost, or smaller towns,
It is mostly as an exchange of words in a place that the coupling find relevant to their to their joining. So somewhere like the first place you met, somewhere that you had a particular, like perhaps if you had conceived a child previously, like any place where that is a deep like emotional connection between the two. A short exchange basically of wedding vows. More on the it is much more on the I will, I have your back, period, forever. Like through whatever dangers there may be down here in the deep and the dark, I will be there for you and you will be there for me, kind of thing. And Duergar as dwarves, this is the more personal. Instead of rings, they will carve stone like placards that have that basically, and the contents of what is carved on them is entirely personal to what you feel like, what you want to gift. If it could be runes, so there could be words on it. It could simply be an art piece. The significance of it, though, being symbolizing, this same as a wedding ring, and that is worn by the recipient. So each of you wear the placard that was carved for you by the other, in a place of prominence. Some wear it as almost like a piece of a necklace. Some wear it as like anywhere that is easily displayed.
Does Brune? You see actually that Therilia has a stone in her hand ready to present to you. With this, it seems that she's had a lot of conversation with a lot of the folks that you've brought up, and she has something sitting there waiting for you. You have one of your Duergar buddies with a blank stone in his hand, says, "I can chisel something out for you real quick. Just let me know what you want it to say."
Thank you, but if you would, and he's just going to hold a hand out for himself.
Of course, I would prefer that. She's scary. I'm back, and backs off a full like 8 feet.
And he'll right then and there he'll take himself a seat. He'll set down the stone and go to chisel out. Not an artist himself, so choosing the word, written word, is going to carve out basically everything that all of the positive traits that he sees in Therilia. Some of it in giant and some of it in undercommon, but the things that she's strong and resilient and commanding, like that she is a leader, and so far in that despite maybe perhaps she's something that she is very supportive, and that she is unfailing loyalty, and all of these things that has been all these traits that she is possessed and exemplified, that have been the only reason realistically that we ever made it out of the Underdark.
You go to hand this to Therilia. She takes it, looks at it. These are all true.
And the fact that you know them is the reason you deserve.
I will keep this forever. She takes it, the one that she has in her hand, and there's one undercommon symbol on the front of it. Just one. Therilia did not go to the links that you have with listing out every quality that you have. Instead, the one symbol that she has carved on here, in a lot of languages, there are words that can mean things in either positive or negative or neutral connotations. One of those words in Undercommon is shackled or bound. she hands you this with a more positive connotation for the symbol for being bound. And she looks at you and she says, you have championed our way since the beginning. You have kept my people safe as well as yours. You are strong and capable. But you can no longer be the unshackled. For you're bound to me. Rune Smidja. And that's what we're going to call tonight's episode.
Hey.
Can I interject one very quick thing?
No. Denied. Sit down.
I joke, of course. Otto. DM, can I? Just real quick.
Sure, go for it.
Otto has been having as much trouble keeping it together as I have been sitting here squirting in my chair. And when she says that to him, he explodes just shouting, "Congratulations!"
Hey! And 40 Duragar, Drow, and other underfolk scream along in celebration with you. As Therilia wraps her fingers up under your breastplates, picks you up, muscles you off of the ground, and kisses you. And that's what we're going to call tonight's session. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you guys for playing with me. I had a blast. I hope you did as well. We are Hard Knock Dice. We stream every Wednesday and Saturday. On Wednesdays, we do Whispers in the Dust, DM by our wonderful Brune /Ganwin /Ian. We do wonderful cowboy things there. So go check us out. We're not going to be streaming this next Wednesday, correct?
I believe so, because we're gonna be missing Dose. So that's certainly a no-go.
So we're going to be not streaming on the 8th, but we will stream on the 15th. We're going to take the week of Thanksgiving off for both campaigns. So the week of the 20th through the 24th, whatever that week is. We're not going to be streaming Whispers in the Dust or Across Eberron. Going to give some folks time for going on family trips and all that other good stuff. So we'll miss you that week, but every other week we're going to be here Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then on Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we do Across Eberron. You'll also check us out sometimes. So we may have a one-shot plan for the 8th. We're still planning that. So, but however, you can keep in touch with us by following us on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, all of those wonderful things. We also upload all of these episodes onto YouTube, where you can go catch up with you if you feel it, if you feel that desire deep within your soul. We are also raising money for Extra Life. For the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Please go click on that link, do the lawful kind thing, open your heart wallets to a really great cause, and go be a hero IRL, all that good stuff. Drop a follow if you haven't yet. That helps us out. We're our ultimate goal of 369 nice followers. We're so close. We're at 318, so help us out there. And if you're feeling it in your heart of hearts, feel free to drop us a sub. That helps us buy all sorts of wonderful D&D content for these guys, and all sorts of new stream stuff. So consider
monsters.
Yeah, monsters and stuff.
DM stuff too.
Yeah, DM stuff. We're gonna be raiding. Let's raid the Glass Cannon. I really like what those guys do over there. So go check them out. We're gonna start that raid right now. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, in that case, guys, until next time, much love.